Well, I say every day it's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.
We're not qualified.
Explorers in the further regions of experience.
I understand. If you do not listen, then the hell with you.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the 167th episode of Screaming Into the Void, show where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like. My name is Samuel the Infamous, and joining me as always, lately, it's kind of like we're attached at the hip or something. It's kind of gross, actually. We have Caucasian Sasquatch, who may not be back yet. He said he was going to be right back, so we'll also say hello to Abe.
Yo, what's going on?
Welcome in.
My green compadre.
Indeed. So yeah. Here we are. Here we be. Here the show gets started. We are currently live on Twix, YouTube, and Rumble. If you're in any of those places, drop a comment. Let us know you're here. We're also live on two YouTube channels: Caucasian Sasquatch in the vertical and Samuel the Infamous in the horizontal. We control the vertical and the horizontal. Do not attempt to adjust your sets. If I could remember the whole opening dialogue from The Outer Limits, I would use it, but I can't remember all of it. So that's where we're going to stop.
It's iconic, man.
Yep, absolutely. Which is so weird because I'm seeing on one screen both the horizontal and the vertical. And it appeared as though while the intro was playing, there was about a half-second delay between the two of them. Like the vertical was moving just a little bit faster. And it was it was kind of disorienting, if I'm being honest, because there's a lot of imagery
in that half a second. That's where the outer limits lie.
Right. So, but yeah, we do have some stuff to talk about today, but mostly I think we're probably just going to kind of ramble on about stuff. We were just discussing the racial and slavery dynamics of the Empire and Star Wars behind the scenes. So I don't know where we're going to go today exactly. There has been some news and stuff, but I don't know how much of that we're going to get into. All that
there's always news. We should focus more on the olds.
I mean, that comes up every once in a while too. Every once in a while I'll come across something that, everybody else knew about for thousands of years and it was new to me,
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah. It's just kind of a fun thing. Like, do you know what a magnetar is?
I've heard of it. I couldn't tell you what it is though.
So like a neutron star.
Mm-hmm.
But on apocalyptic level crack.
Okay.
Wait a second. What was the word you're talking about?
Magnetar.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
It's like a doomsday eye.
Here's the thing. You know how an induction furnace or hot plate works?
Yeah.
All right, so it moves a bunch of electrons really close to the pan, and electrons move inside the pan sympathetically. And magnetar does that to like rocks and shit, not just some type of metal. So if you ever wanted to forge like some true star steel or something along those lines, you would launch it on like 1,000,000-year path to pass nearby fucking magnetar, and when it comes out, it would be literally the most pure form of whatever the fuck it was you threw in there, because that's all that would survive.
Right. Now, before we continue on this, because I do have something I want to bring up about magnetars, just because I think they're fucking neat. I'm going to say a little to the chat real quick, because I kind of skipped over that. I apologize, you guys. We've got JP. Welcome in. Carney Vanguard, that's a hell of a position. Welcome in.
Howdy.
We've got Old Blondie with us tonight. Howdy. It's Aaron Laura. Good to see you. Good to see you. We have Zatoichi 444. Welcome in. And let's see. Scrolling down. I think that's everybody who's currently in chat. Like I said earlier, we're in a bunch of different places, so let us know you're here. All that good stuff. So I found this the other day. I started following this account called Black Hole on Twitter, right? Because they post a bunch of stuff about space. And
it wasn't the black hole you were hoping for, but
no, not well.
It's interesting
I mean,
anyway.
I got a thing about like weird astronomy. I don't know. So, anywho, they post this the other day. Meet the Magnetar, the most terrifying champion of the cosmos. Imagine a star that died in a cataclysmic supernova, but refused to go quietly. What's left behind is a Magnetar, a neutron star dialed up to absolute nightmare levels. Now, where it gets insane to me is when it starts talking about like how it gets if it got close to Earth, right? If the field it generates got anywhere near Earth. Said it would wipe every credit card on the planet from orbit, which is a given. You know, this is a lot of magnetic stuff. But it says get within about 600 miles and the field becomes apocalyptic. It literally rips the electrons out of your atoms, disassembling you and on a subatomic level. I mean, it disintegrates everything.
Well, sort of.
Yeah.
All right. So Magnetar is between your supermassive stars and a black hole, right? Mm-hmm. They're immeasurably hot. And when I say immeasurably, I mean they're immeasurable because of the amount of just trash they throw off constantly. They warp all of space around them because they're orbiting at some rotating at some absurd freaking speed. And their positive and negative fields are tightly locked in. So there's no give on that. It's the rest of space that has to get over it.
Right. It's the very definition of like you will change to suit me, not the other way around.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, like it's saying here, it's I mean, they're very, very small, right? Only about it says here only about 12 miles across, which is crazy small for a celestial object. Like even a lot of asteroids are bigger than that. But it says a single teaspoon of magnetar material weighs roughly 1 billion tons. That's how dense these fucking things are.
And think about what you said. Matter approaching it has its electrons ripped off. Mm-hmm. The electrons are cast out into space, creating an unbelievably powerful negative field on one side of this thing, and the protons are drawn in closer to one of the poles, where what you would call north, I assume, and then it is spinning so fast that the protons can barely keep up. They're catching up, they're falling in, but only as much as the mass of the protons outweigh the particle field, right? It's absurd, dude. Like it might actually rip protons and electrons apart once you get close enough, but we really can't tell because that's it.
Mm-hmm. See, and this is what I was saying. Like I had never heard of these before, and that it just means that I wasn't reading deeply, apparently enough. But yeah, they're scary. They make quasars look tame. You know.
Look, the messed up part about a quasar is it's a very well organized electron.
That's a great start to a sentence, by the way.
What, very well organized, or the thing about?
Yeah, the messed up thing about quasars is.
That could be a band name. But seriously, quasars, they're out there spinning around. They're on a fairly predictable path. We've mapped it like 24 of them within, a few billion light years of us because they're really stupid bright, right?
Yeah.
Magnetars don't have that effect. The light output and whatnot is more in like the radial heat spectrum than it is in anything that's measurable from Earth. And so we find magnetars not so much based on finding the magnetar itself, but based on how it warps matter around itself. A quasar, on the other hand, we just wait long enough for a beam to get kind of close enough to us, and we watch it interact with matter on its path through at light speed. Literally.
Right. And to put that in a context, that's not to say that quasars aren't dangerous as fuck. They are, but they, they spew constantly spew radioactive matter in like the gamma range,
Gamma
from
rays,
ends,
yes, sir.
right, from the poles, and they spin at such a rate that those like they're like strobe lights of death, right?
Yeah.
And if one of those
Galactic
rays
strobe
from
lights.
one of the quasars that we have mapped, if one of them ever found itself directly aimed at Earth, it would cook everything alive in an instant.
It's so fast, and this is a ridiculous amount of power that's coming out of this thing, so fast that there is a small possibility that it would scorch one side of the planet dead without ever raising the temperature much, and the other side of the planet would be more or less just fine, have a few mutant kids and stuff, but they'd be all right.
So the magnetar does this thing every once in a while. They have what they're referring to here as a starquake, where the crust of the thing cracks, right, and releases a lot of energy. The comparison is more energy than our sun will emit in 100,000 years, all at once, all from a single point, right? They're calling this and I don't know how true this statement is. This is just from what I'm reading right here. The most violent events in the universe after the Big Bang.
Yeah.
Which is
sounds about right.
Kind of terrifying. It's kind of terrifying.
Well,
it's kind of neat too, though.
I would make the argument that the theoretical formation of a black hole might be more contained violence in a spot, but whatever it is that happens after the black hole stage, which we have no idea about, right? That's an interesting question mathematically, because black holes are mathematical infinitums, and our understanding of the universe doesn't work with the existence of black holes, except for as a placeholder for something we don't understand.
Sure. Well, you'd also keep in mind too that what we do know about black holes in terms of like the sheer violence of their existence, right? Nothing about a black hole is sudden. Because it changes the way that fucking light moves. It warps time and space around it and all that stuff. Like when you talk about spaghettification, right? Only the part of you that is like not on the being sucked in end has any concept of the passage of time.
But that's one of those mathematical
not a sudden thing
I was talking about, right?
Right. Whereas this just occasionally explodes partially.
All right, so I read a paper. This was 6 or 8 months ago. It was an abbreviated addendum to something else that I was looking into. It had to do with brown dwarfs and stuff. But they were talking about the necessary adjustments to make for the amount of perceived gravity that exists in a galaxy without mass associated with it. And one of the things they were talking about was a miscalculation on the weight and mass of magnetars, and how with the advent of the what they call a starquake, with the advent of like noticing starquakes, the energy output is way more massively increased than was previously thought, because it was previously thought they just kind of spun around out there doing what they do. Now we know they put out massive pulses of freaking weird Cherenkov radiation and stuff. And because of that, that means that not only is the interior of this mechanism like fully active and doing stuff, like it's not just sitting there being hot or whatever, but it is doing more than local space can contain. Even its gravitational and electromagnetic field is weak in comparison to the forces creating the starquake, right? So the rest of that stuff, all the other effects that happen from it, are a byproduct of the energy and mass in the actual body itself. And so they've had to increase the mass of magnetars based off of the noticing of this energy that it's just shedding randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a very stark reminder, though, that we don't know hardly anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
The more we know, the more we realize we don't know.
And what we do know could be completely and fundamentally Wrong. That may merely be an observation of local
Absolutely.
space.
Yeah.
From our limited perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we have to invent machines and other ways of measuring things that we can't actually perceive with our own natural organs. Right. Like we can't see or hear radio waves, for example. So we invent machines to pick those up. Same thing with like infrared, like all the whole light spectrum. We had to design accessories to make that whole part of the universe measurable to us. Like we didn't even know that shit existed until we started tinkering around with stuff like that. And that's just like right here in our face, right here on this very earth. The further out you get, the stranger things get.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of neat. I like the may you tell Aaron a joke. I can't go for it, man.
You're down? Okay. So, men have dirty minds, right? It makes sense. It makes sense because a woman changes hers 3 times a day.
That's true.
Nice.
I think 3 is generous.
Being nice, Aaron. I was being nice. Because my wife changed her mind 5 times about what to have for supper.
Yeah, I wear them front. Where's my mind? I wear it front. I wear it back. I flip it inside out.
Yep.
We get kinky.
So, but no, this was just a phenomenon that I was recently made aware of that I thought was kind of awesome. It's like a terrifying little apocalypse, all in its own little package, right?
But
baby apocalypse, do.
That
Right.
being said, they are rare.
Sure.
There are none too terribly nearby. There are a few nearby enough to be a problem. There's at least 3 quasars I know of that could be an issue for Earth.
Mhm.
There's more out there that we can't see because they just haven't spun in the right direction yet.
Yep. So,
However,
which is
the magnetar thing, we pretty much have most of those in local space, meaning the nearest like 12 galaxies or whatever, mapped out because of the Starquake thing. They basically, it's like a ping from a freaking submarine.
they're not subtle. They announce where they are. There's like, I'm over here, guys. Hey, you should come check me out.
Unlike the quasar, which we measure by its ability to heat space millions of light years away,
Right?
We have to track it back to the source, and then we just look at a black spot in between like some star clusters or something. It's like, what's that? That's a quasar. There's nothing there. I know. I know, but it's one of the most dangerous things in the universe.
Yeah, I mean, that's why when people talk about black holes, first of all, we don't fully understand even what black holes actually are. People will say that it's basically the super dense corpse of a collapsed star, but we don't know that that's actually what it is because we can't get anything close enough to fucking measure that shit and get any kind of reliable data back to us. So
the thing about that, the issue with trying to get these things is our observations are measured second and sometimes third hands off of the action taken by the subject of our study. And we're actually looking at daughter elements effects 2 or 3 generations away from what black hole, like the mathematical term of spaghettify,
right.
0 evidence that happens at all. None. The only evidence we have that happens was the observation of what might have been a very large planet falling into what might have been the event horizon of a black hole. There was a minor flash of light, and then it went away.
Yeah, well, that's probably the only example of the spaghettification process as we explain it on television and whatnot. But the idea for spaghettification, I think, actually came from the way that light bends as it gets nearer to them, because we can't observe that.
Well, it could merely be a function of our mathematical understanding of reality. Like I said, mathematically, these things go into infinitudes, and math doesn't do infinitudes. There, you can always break it down smaller, and yet there's no end to the math going down a black hole because something is wrong in our mathematics. It has to be.
Or it's just corrupting the mathematics and changing the rules by its very existence.
That might merely be a byproduct of us utilizing the speed of light as the basis for our spatial measurements, and it might be a flawed measurement in the first place.
I mean, sure, but we that's why we use the speed of light, because as far as we can tell, it's a near constant.
Unless you get near something really fucking massive, and then it seems to change. But okay, I hear you.
Right. But everything else seems to change around those things too, not just that. So like it throws everything out of whack.
But I mean,
like you've seen the rubber sheet bowling ball.
Yes.
Thing,
yes.
Right. Okay. So like the massiveness of the thing distorts reality.
That's our explanation, though. That is the only explanation that makes sense, utilizing the speed of light as your base constant. Since light speed is not constant across the universe, that is a bad metric to utilize. This might be the reason why it appears to be a whole rather than something definable.
No, that's fair enough. And I'd be more than willing to concede that there's I mean, if you take math as a universal language, which we are taught to understand that it is, right? That like this is one of the reasons that we send out equations on the fucking probes and stuff, right? Because we figure everybody's going to understand 1 + 1 = 2 somewhere in the fucking universe, right? So if you take that as a constant, that does not mean that we understand all of mathematics. It does not mean that we even know of all mathematics. There's probably mathematics that exists that we are completely unaware of.
There could be a whole civilization that's actually based on teriology.
Yes.
Dude. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Free man. Fuck yeah. Sheeps.
Which of course would affect like our limited understanding of the mathematics that operates the universe on its most basic level would explain our inability to quantify things like magnetars and things like black holes and white holes even, which some theorize. I don't know that this is necessarily true. I actually think they're two different phenomena, but some theorize that a white hole is the other end of a black hole because they've still got this whole like where it's a hole in space thing. It's not. It's a supermassive object. But
but this is why the standard model and quantum mechanics don't work together. Practically just using the wrong metrics to unify the theories.
Quantum mechanics makes shit up as they go along, personally.
Well,
maybe.
Quantum mechanics is a very difficult topic to have with somebody who hasn't read deeply into it. And even people that have disagreements on what certain phrases mean.
Well, one of the most famous quotes in relation to quantum mechanics is, if you think you understand quantum mechanics, you don't understand quantum mechanics.
You don't understand quantum mechanics. That is absolutely true. And I'm not saying I understand it. I'm saying I can discuss it at least as intelligently as the next random person on a panel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand quantum mechanics insofar as I was able to follow along with Sam Carter's dialogue at Stargate.
That's old string theory stuff that doesn't get into the quantum flotsam and jetsam of the quantum foam and all that silliness.
Like I said, I think they're making it up as they go along.
All right.
Well, that's because they're using standard model mathematics to explain something that is fundamentally totally different.
It is different, but at the same time, same. Listen. You said it yourself, the fabric of the universe, right?
Sure. Yeah.
That fabric is made up of strings. Those strings work together to create the very fabric, the membrane that you're talking about.
Yep.
We are the surface, this entire universe, of a membrane, probably just on one of the strings in the membrane, but of the membrane that is one facet of a quantum bubble. Now, this sounds crazy and nuts, But mathematically speaking, the other dimensions where we intersect are warped locations in space and might actually be black holes. And then these stretched out, highly tensile points in the middle of these membranes would probably end up being white holes because the energy would be flowing around, right? Yeah, we just went too deep. I'm sorry.
No, I'm with you.
Okay.
I just wanted to point out,
as I understand a white hole, they actually vomit energy.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
I just wanted to point out, though, that Sasquatch saying same is about as fucking close as we are ever going to say 6'7" on this fucking show.
You had to bring that up on the 167? I was going to avoid that entirely. I don't understand that. I understand more of what Sasquatch is saying than I understand this 6'7" bullshit.
Yeah, because what Sasquatch is saying actually has some reason behind it. You know?
That's kind of what I'm saying. Is like 6'7" makes no sense. I don't think 6'7" makes sense to the fucking people who use it.
No, it's just one of those completely mimetic things that takes over, and no one's got a fucking clue what they're doing.
LeBron James. It's the same thing. It's just a different group. But what I'm getting at is the facets of these quantum flotsam, these quantum bubbles, means that our observable universe is only as big as the flat section of this bubble, right? That's the only part you can see. That's the only part you can experience. That's the only part where time and space and matter react the way they do here. When you get to the edge of the universe, you would run into a separate universe where the laws of physics may be totally different and yet just as unifying.
Yep.
Do you know what film actually distills a lot of these ideas down into a nice digestible Mickey Mouse version?
Please don't say Interstellar.
No.
Okay.
On that front, that film is terrible.
It's awful.
But I'm about to say something that might get me banned off the show. K-Pax.
I didn't see that.
It's interesting.
It's interesting, yeah.
So basically, the universe is completely out of sync with what we think it does. Our local space is merely exactly that, a local space, and the greater universe doesn't bother with space travel. Instead, they launch their minds into other bodies so that they don't have to worry about the problems on other planets. The problem is, in our universe, there's no way back. When they come here, they get a bunch of readings off of the new universe they've come to, or planet, or whatever it is they're exploring, and it takes them a certain amount of time to create a retrieval beam to get back the subject, and that's the amount of time they have to explore the area there. It's wild. It's a very simple movie. You can watch it and enjoy it. But at the same time, if you really start thinking about some of the things K-Pax says, it can make your brain bruise and might make a wrinkle.
Yeah. And what's interesting about that is that it could work not only across space, but time as well.
So that's because he's coming from a place outside of our local space, our local measurements and whatnot. And so the time aspect is immaterial as far as the way he's talking about traveling.
Exactly.
I think, well, so we're linear creatures, so we perceive time a specific way, but I've always held to the idea that time is in fact the fourth dimension that we move through, the same as we move through height, width, and depth. We just don't see it with our eyes. It's something that, but we can only move the one direction through it, but that doesn't mean that other directions aren't possible.
But yes,
you can feel it with your nuts.
If you've got it wrong, think about it. Time is a single point moving forward. It's whatever observable point you occupy moving forward. There is no deviation from that, correct?
Time as we understand it is.
Sure. If you're going to measure the dimensions, time would be the first dimension. not the fourth. The observable 3 dimensions and then time implies time is the first dimension, and the other 3 dimensions are higher states of being, so to speak. And
I see what you're saying. I kind of feel like that's a bit of a semantic thing in terms of ordering them, but
trying to understand things about time, it helps to not view it as a videotape that runs forward and backwards, but rather as a point that starts and is gone. There is nothing behind you. You can't go back to it. It merely moves forward. And that is
more Heisenbergian.
Yeah, that's a singular dimensional thought. And it's easier to quantify those thoughts in conversation later when you're discussing the first 4 dimensions of reality.
Sure.
But yes, for the
I can see that.
It is semantic. Yes.
Well, one of the reasons that I think that it's possible to move in different directions in time, and it's just not possible necessarily for us because we are very linear. We are very, move in one direction through it, is the idea of other perceptions of it, right? Like, say the old time is a wheel perception, or like even take the trolls in Discworld. They believe that everybody's moving backwards through time because you can see the past, therefore it's in front of you.
Right. That's a very African concept, by the way. When you're dealing with African languages and whatnot, the idea of time being of tomorrow being before you is not quantifiable in some of the languages, and the idea that the past is in front of you, it makes more sense through their language. I've read far too much. I need to stop.
I thought of an incredibly racist joke and I can't say it.
That's why Terry Pratchett wrote it that way. Is that
right but I mean, I'm just using like very basic examples of like perception of linear time. But like, even if you go to use another fictional example, Deep Space Nine, right? The prophets in the wormhole, right? They do not understand linear time because they do not experience time in a linear fashion, right? For them, all is happening all at once, all the time, right? So when Sisko gets there and he has to explain what linear time is and why this thing that they keep bringing back to, this thing, this trauma in his past that they keep bringing back to was in fact in the past, and they keep asking him like, well, then why do you still live there? And because he can't quite move forward with it, but he is trying to explain the concept of linear time to beings that do not experience time in a linear fashion.
All right, Aaron Lara, Scott Bakula could not jump in all directions. He could only move back and forth within the span of his life until he got crossed up with Al and jumped once into Al pre his life and once into was it Ziggy? No, Ziggy's computer, the other guy, post his death, or rather his loss in the quantum tunnel. But it's
it's really unclear as to whether or not he actually died. He's just out there.
Did you ever watch the reboot of it?
I did not, because it's woke as hell. It's all horrible. It's bad and everything. But they did one thing that I really appreciated. They didn't try to remake the series. They did, right? But how they did it was it's Scott's son, it's the other chick's daughter, it's everybody's related to the people who were lost doing the previous experiment, because at the end of the show, if you remember right, the wormhole thing that he was traveling in explodes and everybody disappeared, right? The last thing that was sent from Ziggy was critical failure relocating. So the theory is, at the start of the show, is that they're still out there trying to save whatever is left of the wormhole, and that it might be possible to jump somewhere at the same time that they are, right? And communicate. And here's where it gets really wild. If you remember the later seasons of Quantum Leap, there was an oppositional force that was out there working against him that was basically evil, right? These people occupied that space in the sense that some of the things they go back and change operate directly oppositionally to the things that Scott Bakula was doing. And that bit of writing was fucking genius.
Well, he's got to have a foil beyond time itself.
I got to admit, that's a really long way to go to say good job. and it is
You know-
very under hours of horrible show.
Though it could explain the horrible show entirely if the horrible show is in fact the oppositional force.
But yeah, that's exactly. Well, it doesn't just
Totally
come out and
makes
say it.
sense because yeah. But if they're the evil ones and they're all woke and shit and they're the ones trying to work against this guy trying to make shit right, I mean that makes perfect fucking sense to me, man.
Honestly, memes have ruined Quantum Leap for me now. Because now when someone mentions it, I just think of that clip of him. I'm retarded, and it's just a guy with fucking Down syndrome. You're like, oh my god, fucking hell.
Yeah,
Hilariously,
happy as hell.
That was actually one of the best episodes too. It was really
Yeah.
It was a really good episode.
It was the episode that sold me on Scott Bakula as an actor. After I watched that episode, I went and watched everything he was ever in and have watched everything he's ever been in since because of that episode.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Yeah, he is. You watched everything, including Lord of Illusions?
Oh my god. Yeah, but I didn't say I liked it all. But I mean, okay. Let me do that. Let me do this. Lord of Illusions is what happens when you have a grade A super actor on stage and don't use him for anything useful.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Lord of Illusions has some really intriguing ideas in it, and it is based on a pretty solid fucking short novel. Right. But it's not a good movie. It's just like something about it just utterly it tries to be detective noir, it tries to be supernatural thriller, it tries to be all these things all at the same time, and it's like Constantine before they figured it out.
Yeah, I kind of wonder what the filming conditions actually were on that set, because everything is so. If you go watch the trailers, it's a fucking gonna be a great movie, bro. And then you watch the movie, and it's like,
yeah,
what just happened? What just happened?
Right. It was just this weird little noir thing that kind of was, I don't know, it's hard to explain if you haven't seen it, but it's just not it's not good. It's not good. And the thing is there are intriguing ideas in it. There really are. They just didn't, I don't know, flesh them out very well.
They don't finish. It's all tease and suspense and no follow through.
Pretty much. And the worst part is the character that Bakula plays, a guy named Harry D'Amour, right? He's one of the only characters that actually reoccurs in multiple things that Clive Barker wrote, right? I mean, including The Last Illusion. He's in The Scarlet Gospel, unfortunately, that piece of shit. He shows up in the second book of the art, Everville. I think he has a brief appearance in Magic. Like he's in a bunch of different things, a couple of other short stories here and there. And he's a good character. And he basically is Constantine, but without, the smoking habit.
You ever watched any of the What If Villains Had a Hotline?
I think so.
Dude, next time you're sitting around and you're all pissy with the universe, I want you to sit down and watch a dozen of those things back to back, because it's great. It's great. One of my favorites. It's like Mephistopheles is going after Harry Dresden, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing: he misses Harry Dresden and lands on Harry Potter.
Fucking hell.
On a totally different one, Voldemort has hunted Harry down to his house and he's finally going to end him. But there's a problem. The motherfucker keeps blasting us with magical shotgun rounds. And so he calls up customer support and is like, hey, dude, I'm over here trying to take out Harry Potter, and this motherfucker's got a shotgun. And he's like, wait, Harry Potter? And he's like, yeah, where are you at? I'm in Chicago. Oh shit, run. You can't handle this. What are you talking about? I'm taking over the whole wizarding world except for Chicago. Get out. It's hilarious, and every one of them is spot on. This dude's been reading all of that trash for real. He's not faking it.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
It's like I've had 3 werewolves wiped out just when I showed up. Yeah, and he's going to keep on too. Go now while you can before he becomes angry.
I hear the Dresden Files are pretty solid books. Never actually read them. I did try to watch the television show, but I didn't get very far into it. It
didn't do well. They basically tried to take each book and make it an episode, and that just didn't fly. Really, there's not enough.
I got to like the first or second. I don't even remember which one it was, but the one about the skinwalkers, right? And he's like, "There's only one thing that walks around in in another thing's skin, a skinwalker." And I'm like, "This is the dumbest fucking writing I've ever seen."
It's like that, though. No, it's like that. Okay, so first of all, you know how in Harry Potter magic exists, and you have to wield it and make it do what you want. In Dresden's universe, it's kind of the opposite thing. It wants to do something for you. And it is our constant training that there's no such thing as magic that keeps wizards from just popping up all over the place. What's up, Moose? Welcome in, brother. And so Harry, having been indoctrinated into the ways of wizardry as a child by blood ritual involving his betrothed other, there's a lot done back there, but we'll skip it right now. It doesn't matter. Accidentally becomes a very powerful wizard as a byproduct of A, not believing the scientific trash at all, was never taught it, and B, grasping a little bit of the energetics that are involved in the creation of things utilizing magic. But here's the kick in the nuts. Part of him getting out of that blood ritual thing involved him beholden himself to a fae, which means no one else can kill him until she's done with him. But they don't know that. He does, which is why he's willing to walk into a vampire's crypt, kick in the door with a cross shotgun, and just waste them fuckers. It's like Constantine, sort of.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm kind of getting it. There was a spike in that sort of subgenre that sort of urban fantasy focused around magicians kind of thing. Around that time, there was another series of books that were called the Matthew Swift series. I don't know if you ever checked any of those out.
Little bit. I didn't really get into that one. I was full on at Harry Dresden's asshole for a little while.
Yes, yeah, I was the other way. I was the other way. I read I think the first 4 Matthew Swift books, and they were pretty good, but there was there's a lot of I don't know. You read them, you enjoy them. They're great fun, but by the end of it feels like you just wandered through a fucking labyrinth that was filled with mist. Like it's very difficult to fucking. The writing of those books was very strange. It was like wandering around the London Underground, in which actually one of the books takes place.
Dude, you ever read any of the Iron Druid?
I have not.
Awesome. Okay, so here's the premise. 1,000 years ago, Romans showed up and got their ass kicked by druids, that whole Boudica event. Romans, you got a handful of survivors back going, look, those folks are actually wielding actual magic. And they went, okay, and sent a legion instead. They killed all the druids except for one dude who basically the only reason he lived was when the attack took place. His master looked at him, asked him if he remembered everything. And he's like, yes. Do you swear? He says, I swear. He says, run and never stop. They will never stop chasing you. And he does. He checks out and ends up living with Inuits for 100 years and other stuff. But druids have the ability, depending on how many of them, they share magic. And since there's only one,
he gets all of it.
He's a badass.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was getting to with the Matthew Swift thing was the idea of drawing energy, right? Which is a very pagan concept. It's a thing in multiple faiths, where you draw energy or you draw power from things around you or from within or whatever. But in Matthew Swift's case, it's quite literally from things around him. So when he needs to send a bolt of lightning at an enemy, he literally channels it through the fucking local power lines into his body.
Yeah.
It's very, very urban fantasy.
I've actually seen the druids at Stonehenge do their shtick.
The Neo Druids, sir. Neo Druids.
Depends on your perspective.
It depends on the perspective.
Their robes are much cleaner these days.
They're wearing robes for starters.
Druids.
Yes.
They put some clothes on.
Yeah. Or back in my day, used to do everything naked.
Dude, I loved the Iron Druid series. I found it like way after all of that stuff. I stumbled across it while I was laid up after my accident. And I went through, I listened to the audiobooks and then read all of the books. I like them so much.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I always feel weird about urban fantasy though, because it feels like it's crossing lines, like that shouldn't be crossed. It's like Shadowrun, man. I don't like the idea of computer hacking elves. I don't like the idea of like cyborg trolls.
Yeah.
Like it feels like there's lines being crossed that maybe shouldn't be crossed.
Yeah, you should never see an orc with a laptop.
Right? Like I watched
just doesn't seem right, does it?
Hold on a second,
did
sir.
You guys watch Bright on
I
Netflix?
was just fixing to say that I've seen the people who made Bright, and those are orcs with laptops.
Fair enough.
The purple hair is
literally
the point.
Weirdly, just contrary to everything I just said, though, I actually kind of enjoyed Bright.
It was different.
Okay. All right,
it was different.
Good.
I didn't dislike Bright, but then again, I somehow through all of the shenanigans of life, I had missed the fact that there was going to be a new, like, who was it? Will Smith film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess I thought it was one of the other films that he was in around the time, and I just thought they were the same thing. And then when I saw it, I was like, huh, that's weird. I feel like there should be an awful lot of lore put in here somewhere.
Well, the idea was that they were planning on doing more of these movies to kind of like fill that in and expand on the world and shit. I mean, which you can tell because like there's a fucking centaur cop at one point just like guarding a passageway, and if you have to look for it, it's very brief, but there is a dragon in the air over Los Angeles in one shot briefly. Like there is lore there to be expanded on. I did think it was kind of an interesting because it felt like it wasn't a new concept, right? This was basically Alien Nation, but fantasy, not sci-fi. Right?
Yes, thank you. I said the same thing about that movie. I was like, it's totally Alien Nation except fantasy.
Yeah,
or,
13,
something like that. Yeah,
literally.
But I like the idea that wands were weapons of mass destruction, right? I like that idea. that was cool. But then it had these other little problems, right? Where like the one guy's saying, "Oh yeah, they're still blaming it. Don't ask me, man. They're still blaming us Mexicans for the Alamo." And I'm like, how did the Alamo still happen if this Dark Lord changed the entire course of fucking history 2,000 years ago?
Yeah,
because Santa Anna was a motherfucker,
right? Well, I mean, he was probably an orc.
Doesn't matter. Immaterial. We're not being racist here. I'm just saying the Western Napoleon, he was not.
Yeah. So it was but it was still a pretty good movie. But they did have a couple little things in there that didn't make any sense. Like, why are you referencing things that happen in the real world where obviously there were no fantasy elements, kind of thing? That makes no sense. Like have other events. Like they talk about this whole like war with the Dark Lord 2,000 years prior, which by the way would have been right around the time that the whole Jesus thing was happening.
Yeah, and Buddha and Confucius, and hell, not very long before the whole Islam schism takes place.
Yeah. Well, that was something that I did find interesting. They don't mention Jesus at all in this movie. At all.
To my knowledge, there are churches, but there are not crosses. I noticed that when I was watching it. If there's a cross in that movie, I missed it somehow.
Yeah, so I'm thinking this Dark Lord was like elf Jesus.
Or just an elf.
Probably.
It wouldn't necessarily have to be Jesus. But if an elf, like an actual immortal elf who's been wandering around the multiverse for the past 5,000 years were to show up in Jerusalem, and you would be hard pressed to convince a bunch of shepherds that he wasn't the Messiah.
Was kind of interesting. Did you ever read any Terry Brooks?
Absolutely. Magic Kingdom for Sale sold. Yes, sir.
Sure, but that's not the series I'm referencing right now.
It was the other one, Wish Sword of Shannara.
Yeah, the Shannara Chronicles. The interesting thing about those is that they take place in the far distant future of the world we inhabit today.
Yeah. So magical creatures are like evolved versions of human beings, aren't they?
Or mutated versions of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the trolls are, irradiated, for example.
Yeah.
But the elves are purely magical creatures, and they have always existed. They just didn't come out of hiding until the fucking apocalypse happened in the Word and the Void series.
So that series specifically,
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the guy who did the theory, but there's a video on YouTube about a theory about how magic existed in the world until enough radiation decayed that it didn't for a while. And then the atom bombs were dropped and ended our civilization and created the stepping stones to Shannara.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really strange because the Word and the Void. So I remember reading those when I was a kid, and they when they were first coming out, and they all took place in present day. They all involved this one chosen chick with a magic staff and a bunch of like evil shadow creatures trying to eat her face, right? And that was pretty much the premise of it. And it all takes place. The first book takes place in this fucking park outside her house in Chicago, right? You had no idea that she's basically the one thing standing between these shadow creatures and murdering the entire civilized world. I mean, you kind of get that impression, but you're just like, yeah, this is like a local problem, though. I mean, she's like a little wizard, whatever. It's fine. Nobody else believes her. It's fine. And as the series goes on, it gets wilder and more involved and broader until eventually, the Void basically wins out and destroys everything. And it isn't until there's a bridge series, and I can't remember what the name of it is off the top of my head, but there's a bridge series that takes place sort of in the in-between times where the like when they did the Chronicles of Shannara series on like MTV or whatever the fuck it was on, they kind of did a pretty good job of showing you that this was the future, like not just through the opening credit animation, but also when they went to say the like ancient forbidden places, you could see the bones of old civilization, and by that I mean like rotting skyscrapers consumed by nature kind of thing. But they don't really do a great job of explaining that in the Shannara books, because I think initially with the Sword of Shannara came out in 1977 was straight up high fantasy, and it was straight up ripping off Tolkien. Like, I don't think that's where he intended to go with it until later. He sort of retconned his own shit like 3 times.
Okay, so I don't have an issue with the original author retconning their stuff. I have no issue with that.
I mean, yeah. I'm just saying that, like, I don't think that he intended to end up where he did initially.
Yeah, right.
Like Tolkien, for example, mapped everything out.
I'm fixing to ruin your lunch by mentioning this, but when you want to talk about the epitome of ending up somewhere you didn't expect writing, The Wheel of Time is the king of this.
I never read those.
You don't. I hate to be that guy.
Oh shit!
It's not so much. It's the same series of events happening every time in every book, but each time it happens with different people and ends up in different ways because the different people make different decisions. I can sum up the entire series, all 725,000 freaking pages or whatever it is.
It's Foundation and Empire.
No. That is a misunderstanding. That is a misinterpretation of the foundational network of the book. The Wheel of Time is based entirely on the concept of the fight is the purpose. You cannot win. Think about it. In every possible permutation of the Wheel of Time, the only ones that actually exist are the ones in which Alran Thor fights. The ones where he's still currently fighting, where he hasn't lost, he didn't fall down the well, he didn't get drowned as a baby, he wasn't born. Okay, there's one reality where he is a woman, and he is actually kept captive by the Dark One, but the Dark One runs. That's where it lives. And it's not a part of the Wheel of Time. It's sort of an ancillary thing that happened. Might have been fanfic. I don't know. I read a lot of that crap. There is a lot to read. But it all comes down to this one concept. It doesn't matter whether you win or lose. It is the fight. Only the fight matters. The willingness to stand against the chaos, the darkness, the evil, the bad, to stand up and say something, to stand up and do something. That's the only existence that actually exists.
That seems kind of pointless.
It does seem pointless except for one point. The only places that does exist are the places where A, he has survived, and B, he still fights. There's an end, but it's a predicted end that nobody can know when is going to happen because time's so fucked up over there that you can't keep track of it. But at the same time, it is an inevitable end where Luce Theron meets the Dark One and they have it out.
Huh.
What's up, Andrew? Welcome in, bud. It's a wild ride. It is.
I kind of feel like I didn't fuck up my life by not reading these. You know, it's like when they did the Wheel of Time adaptation on Amazon that I heard a lot of people were really upset about.
Yeah.
Just because it was completely inaccurate to what the books have been doing. Like I have no basis of comparison though, because I never read the books, right? So I didn't watch a show either. I was just like, this is of no interest to me. So I kind of feel like that's
I regret
an okay place to be.
I regret saying that, and because I said this a few years ago, I was like, I hope they do an adaptation of the Wheel of Time because the original material is so woke and so gynocentric they can't possibly screw it up.
Apparently they did.
And then they did.
Whoops.
And I was absolutely astounded. And hell, the first season, I was like, nah, it ain't too bad. Like, dear God, the only people that can safely use magic are women, and women rule the world. And that's the end of the conversation. But it went woke in a weird way since they already had the women foundationally pinned. They went anti-man. It was odd. It was a weird twist.
Yeah. Glad I never got into that either. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of new shit though. Like, you know, and I honestly, I don't read a lot of new stuff either. Most of what I read has been published for decades at least. You know, and it's not that there aren't. I'm sure there are new worthwhile stories and ideas out there that are coming out every day, but they're so buried under mires and mires of crap and propaganda and just like stuff I'm just frankly not that interested in. That it's just not worth it to me, right? Why do you think I keep going back to an author who's been dead for 89 years?
Because he was really, 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 really good.
Yeah. Also, he was right. The universe is a cold, uncaring place, and we're all doomed to be forgotten. Just saying.
Every man dies twice. You die when you pass from this world, and you die when the last person who remembers you dies.
Hey, look, Yog-Sothoth might be the gate and the key, but not actually, you know, a real thing. But what he represents totally is a real thing, and it is the futility of our existence.
Yeah.
That is also what Alran Thor represents, is not the futility, but that the willingness to fight the futility is the point. It's subtle.
See, Lovecraft goes the other way. He goes the other way. He's like, it's better that you don't open that door because you're just gonna go crazy, and then probably die horribly, and no one will care.
And no one, even the creature that's killing you, will care.
The creature that's killing you might not even notice that you're there.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. That's the whole thing about dealing with those levels of cosmic horrors is they're not evil. Their existence is a danger to ours.
Mm-hmm.
Merely breathing destroys stars and galaxies and shit. It's not that they're out to get us, although they are tasty morsels.
That brings us back to the Magnetar, man. Like there's this thing out there that is so insanely deadly and powerful. and that we had no idea existed. And now that I know it fucking exists, I also know that it does not give a fuck about me.
It's almost like there are levels to existence.
I'm still of the opinion that the quasar is more directly dangerous to me.
Sure. I'm just saying that, like
to
when
you
the eyes,
specifically.
when the eye of
There's a
perception is
quasar out
open-
there. It's like, fuck that guy in particular.
Nope, I don't believe that. I'm just saying, as far as my mathematics and my perception, quasars are more likely to end my organic existence than a magnetar is.
Sure. But the fact is they exist. They're out there,
And in
they
fact,
are what they are, and they're beyond us.
it may have already happened 27 seconds ago, and I won't realize it until like 3 or 4 days from now when my teeth start falling out and my eyeballs go cloudy.
Yeah.
So
all the leaves fall off the trees.
I'm just saying, Lovecraft was right. It's a vast, uncaring, red, carnivorous universe, and
I like how we keep it upbeat on this stream. It's great.
Yeah. This is upbeat for me.
Yeah.
You should know me well enough by now to understand that this is upbeat.
Hey, look, if you've got the privilege to live, you've got the privilege to die as well. Don't worry about it.
You know what? That's what I told a bunch of people when they asked me how I was doing at Thanksgiving dinner. I said, well, any day this side of the dirt is a good day.
Yeah. Should have read the fine print, my friend. You should have read the fine print.
Well, that's one of the things I don't think we should be defining our quality of life by existential, threats or influences, right? Like now I know this magnetar is out there. I know it's a thing. It's terrifying. It really is. But
you want to continue the terrifying conversation?
It doesn't really ultimately matter because it's either going to get me or it isn't, and I can't do anything about it either way. So I might as well just live on life like with a smile on my face and skipping my step.
Yeah, why not?
I like strawberries.
That's the thing about insignificance.
I like dinosaurs.
Right? Everything else is kind of insignificant too, in perspective. So, I like dinosaurs.
Yeah,
too.
But
dinosaurs are fun.
I disagree a little bit. Significance is, I guess, to an extent, a self perspective, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I don't have any dreams of conquering the stars. I don't believe that transdimensional travel is possible with intent, right? I don't believe that light speed is the proper measurement of our universe. And for that reason, I am open to concepts that are well outside of the normal alley of thought, right?
Sure.
But my significance is that which I can bestow upon others, whether it's good advice, which they never take, bad advice, which they usually take, chicks you bang at 2 o'clock in the morning, chicks that want to bang you that you never find out about, that is significant.
On a personal level, absolutely.
Yeah,
and
sure.
That's kind of what I'm getting at is if nothing ultimately matters, right? If we really are just like flotsam and jetsam, then the only thing that matters is what we do with our time. It's like, we are beings that thrive on purpose. And if there is no purpose, then it behooves us to create purpose for ourselves. And it doesn't have to be anything big or special. It could be, it just, give yourself some measure of meaning.
It should be better than just enjoying yourself.
I agree. I agree that it should be better than just enjoying yourself. Like hedonistic nonsense is not what I would call purpose. It's what I would call entropy in real time.
Right.
In acceleration.
Yeah.
Well, you can be nihilistic and not be accelerationist.
Unless your purpose is to give everybody in the world super AIDS.
Well, I'm thinking AIDS is old hat. I think people need to get a little splash of AIDS.
That's why I said super AIDS.
Yeah. That's
which
that's what life means to me.
That could be a purpose. It's a nefarious purpose, but it's a purpose nonetheless. But I was thinking like along the lines of people who create, people who parents, people who garden, farmers, that kind of thing. Like people who do a thing that benefits themselves and others around them in a I don't know, in a way that doesn't do harm.
Yeah.
And I'm being as vague as possible about this because like there's a lot of different ways you could take that, and you could probably come up with all kinds of different scenarios for why, this is bad or that is bad. I'm just saying, like, find a purpose that isn't inherently in and of itself destructive, and then maybe you might find some fulfillment in life, because damn sure ain't nobody else going to give it to you.
Yeah.
That's as upbeat as I get.
Yeah, it's pretty reasonable.
So that's my top gear in upbeat. It doesn't go any higher than that. But just that's one of the reasons that I like Lovecraft so much. I like his stuff so much. I like his worldview so much. I don't have the same level of fear of everything that he did by any stretch.
I don't think he did. I don't think he had fear in relation to it. He had conceptual awareness of it. Do you get what I mean? And trying to explain it to others involved very weird writing to bring your brain around to the concept of infinite and what that actually means.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose he was afraid of a lot of stuff, though.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like mortally afraid of things that didn't make any fucking sense. I mean, I joke about the air conditioning thing. I don't believe he was actually like living in terror of air conditioning. He just really didn't like the idea of scientific advancement and technological progress.
Yeah.
Like, which you can tell if you read his stuff. He had a very 19th century understanding of science as he wrote these science fiction novels in the 20th century. Like Color Out of Space is a prime example of this.
Like, he was one of those people who talked seriously about phrenology.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But like, how do you describe a color that we can't see?
Ask Terry Pratchett.
Yeah. I mean, Terry Pratchett was thinking about this stuff. Fucking Lovecraft just said it's indescribable. I'm describing it to you as indescribable, but they could tell it was there. It was
indescribable.
Indescribably there.
He described the effects it had on the normal world around it. Its mere presence mutated everything from the color of the rock.
Did you see the Nick Cage adaptation?
I fucking did. I hate being that guy, but
the color was fucking magenta, dude.
I still say they should have used the golden glow from Pulp Fiction.
I mean, they could have done that or worked it in there, or maybe like used like an odd grouping of colors to sort of represent that. But no, they just went straight magenta for the whole fucking movie.
Yeah. No one came along and say, "Yeah, I know that one. It's magenta."
Yeah,
I'm like, oh shit.
No, I can clearly place that on the color on the visible light spectrum.
Look, it's a paint palette. I can literally go to a DIY shop and buy that color right now.
Yeah. I mean, it might have been a little fuchsia, but whatever. It was on the visible spectrum.
Yeah.
It was. I think Ardent Party. I'm pretty sure chartreuse is a really drab green. Like almost a khaki green. It's not a good green, though. It's not pretty.
Yeah.
It's like dried vomit green. I think. I don't know. Chartreuse is weird. And it's got a French name, so who the fuck cares?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. It's French. Who cares?
Right. So, as long as we're talking like fiction and all this stuff, I don't think we really got a chance. I don't remember if we did or not. You guys will have to remind me. But did we get a chance to discuss the sci-fi news last week on
about
this show?
New Stargate?
Yeah.
Oh no, we didn't, but we should have.
No.
Bastard.
So that's next topic. That's what we're doing now.
Cool.
I have been avoiding information about this like the plague.
Really?
I really, really, really liked Stargate. I even liked Destiny, the Stargate universe.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
really dug that. The every guy hero. He's just some short, tubby computer geek from freaking college dropout with skills.
The only Stargate that I have not enjoyed because it was dumb and it fucking stupidly retconned some things in dumb ways was Stargate Origins Catherine.
Right. I didn't
we don't speak of this.
I even
not
kind
speak
of
of this.
enjoyed Stargate Infinity, even though it's retarded as well.
Continuum was the one that made me really hurt.
No, Infinity was the Saturday morning cartoon that had like nothing to do with the rest of the fucking franchise.
Yeah, well, it was for kids though, right?
Yeah,
Different demographics, etc.
It was still better than Catherine.
It was brightly colored.
Yeah. So, but beyond that, I love the franchise. Now, the reason that I bring this up is because obviously I'm trepidatious about this. I was wary about it when MGM was acquired by Amazon a couple of years ago, and they came out and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're going to make this for all new audiences." And they were referencing Stargate directly when Jeff Bezos said that shit, by the way, for modern audiences. I still remember him saying that shit, and that puts me on fucking edge. The thing,
avoided.
Yeah, and their track record, like fucking, you were just talking about Wheels of Time, also Rings of Power, and like they're not great with other people's shit,
Except this time round, they've got some of the original show creators, showrunners, writers.
Martin Gero is show running it. He's got Joe Malazzi and Brad Wright, helping out, and Joe Malazzi in particular has been in contact with fans since the internet was just message boards.
Yes. Yeah.
So Zilege makes a point in the chat. Here we go with that DEI cult. Well, Stargate is one of the franchises that, due to the number of different ethnicities and cultures that have been spread all over the universe, you can do a full DEI rebuild on the cast and not damage it, provided you actually get people that do the job.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I don't know. It might turn into something like that because it's not going to be, from what we understand. Here's what we actually know, right? And it's not much. It really isn't. We know they announced this. Martin Gero, Malazzi, and Brad Wright joined Gate World and Dial the Gate on a live stream to announce this shit last week, right? And Dial the Gate and the other one, I just said it. I can't remember. Yeah, anyway, those two guys have been instrumental in keeping the fucking torch alive for a lot of the fans, for a long fucking time. They're who you go to for your news, for your interviews, for all that stuff. And so they brought those guys on to kind of make this announcement. And when they talked about it, they did say there was a lot they couldn't talk about. Now, from what I understand, Martin Gero is the showrunner. He's going to be in charge of running the show. I assume with some interference from Amazon, because why wouldn't there be?
Go cram in the message.
Martin Gero has written some of the best fucking episodes.
I wish I had my echo. The message.
Right?
Yeah.
There's that too. But, I don't know that I think you remember the storm in Atlantis, right? Where Kolia and the Jedi invade and all that, and how good that fucking was. Martin Gero wrote that.
God, yes.
Like he's going to be the showrunner. Like I have some hope that they're gonna, again, I'm tempering it with all the modern expectations on that shit. But
there's trust not to a hope, for it has forsaken these.
I don't trust, and I want to wait and see. But that's why I'm saying that we don't know all that much, because they didn't tell us much, except that Gero had written a few scripts already, but that's as far as they have. They've got a green light to make the show. Yeah, that's as far as they've got. They do not have casting. They don't have any of that stuff. from what I understand, it is not going to be a reboot. It is going to be a continuation, which gives me pause for narrative reasons, not woke reasons. Because what are they continuing from? Are they continuing from universe where we left fucking Eli off floating between galaxies? Or are we continuing from Atlantis where Atlantis lands on Earth in anticipation of the fucking Wraith invasion? Like, where are we leaving off from? Right?
Yes.
And it takes place a couple of years from now. So obviously shit has happened in between the last time we saw these people and now. So we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen.
The only reference to a timeline that I remember from Stargate Universe was it was after the captain becomes commander of some kind. He gets promoted out of SG-1 and into the greater Star Fleet program. And that happens before Eli and all of them go on their little adventure. That is the only solid time referential thing that happens.
Yeah.
That's it. So chronologically speaking, that could have taken place any point after, say, the beginning of Atlantis. Anytime after that.
Well, that's why I was thinking about the Wraith so much, is because we never got a resolution on that storyline. And given how much slower Wraith technology is than Lantean, they could, in theory, still be in transit between Pegasus and the Milky Way.
Right. And it could be 50 years, 100 years, or 20 years, which would be about right.
Yeah. So,
I mean, given who's involved with the show, and the fact that it's not going to be a hard reboot and they're going to carry on the continuity, I'm cautiously optimistic.
What up, Muxus?
But like you say, it's Amazon. They don't have a great track record. Quite the opposite.
Yeah. I don't know why they would. So the Asgard, somebody brought this up to me the other day. Like my mom, I think I was talking to. She's like, "What about those little great guys?" I was like, "They're all dead." Almost like
it doesn't matter.
They nuked their entire civilization because they were never going to get any better with the whole fucking cloning cellular degenerating.
That's not the whole story, though, is it?
Well,
the Asgard civilization, as Pegasus, we know,
those guys are dicks. So that's a whole other story. But
the species itself still exists.
Kind of.
Yeah,
it's more like
they've got a
Romulans
very
and
different perspective.
Really
exactly. Yeah. Very different perspectives, but they are essentially the same.
Different culture, same species, different culture.
So different, in fact, that the Pegasus Asgard were just like, oh, those guys, they're retarded.
Intelligent.
They're two up their own asses that are going to destroy their own civilization. That's just dumb.
And they did destroy their own civilization. Yeah. So in I guess my biggest narrative concern has to be like timeline, like what exactly is happening? What point are we jumping off from? Where are we going with the stories that were just left fucking hanging? Because I want to know what happened with fucking Eli. I honestly don't care much about the rest of the guys who were in stages.
Thank you.
But Eli, I want to know what happened to him in that time. And you know what's even worse? David Blue, the guy who plays him, has gotten in shape since then. It would be
he looks totally
to bring
different.
him back because he spent his time well.
He's been working out for like 15 years on that ship alone.
Right.
Well, no, I don't know how much of it did you watch, man. Like you can't really spoil that show, because if I told you what went down, you'd watch it and be like, how the hell did that happen? Right. It's exactly what he said, but I didn't see that coming. It's decently written until the Mind Stones enter. When the Mind Stones show up, it breaks everything.
That was just a plot device so they could continue to keep it grounded in a Stargate, essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
They had to have some connection. Like even with Atlantis, like they were, eventually shuttling back and forth on these fucking ships in 4 days between galaxies, kind of shit, just because they needed that connection with Earth.
Right.
Well, then they started incorporating it into SG-1 as well.
Yeah.
Well, the Mind Stones originated in SG-1. If you remember that episode where the barber was seeing all that shit and telling stories and trying to get him published.
Yeah, but with the whole Ori storyline, they became a major plot point as well.
Yeah.
Whereas previously, like 90% of the technology that was ever discovered in SG-1, you know, it was just chucked in a storage cupboard and forgotten about.
Area 51 till the end of time.
Yeah.
We don't want no part of that. All alien tech is just bad. It's monkey's paw stuff.
It's like they've literally had a sarcophagus since season 1 of SG-1, and they never fucking use it.
Well, there's a reason, and they show why they don't use it later in SG-1 when Daniel
That's weird repeated use, though.
Yeah, but he did use it like 1,000 times in like a couple of days. So like he went a little
exactly. Yeah. You know, if you've got a bullet wound or something like that, just pop in for 15 minutes. You know,
I think
you're good.
Yeah.
Just don't keep going back to it like a smack addict.
But that's the thing is like it is addictive. Even after that first use, you kind of want to go back because you feel fucking out of it that first time, right? They know how dangerous these things are.
But you know what that means, right? It's not that it's not being used. It's not for the poors to know about. That's where all that tech goes. Super secret dark government projects of space conquest that nobody knows about.
Dude, you know Kinsey's cabal was fucking using the shit out of that thing.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, that's why they were fucking diabolical.
You know, that was the whole thing. But again, that brings us back to like who will be the villains coming up, right? The Gold have been basically wiped out. The Lucian Alliance are a bunch of thugs who were infighting all the damn time and no real threat to anybody. The fucking the replicators have been annihilated again.
At least twice.
You know, the Ori have been defeated, you know, in theory destroyed. I don't think that's 100% accurate, but like we're running out of bad guys here. The Wraith could still present a threat, but the Wraith might still be like fucking traveling.
It's gonna be the Pegasus Asgard, bro, because our Asgard were retarded. They don't want us to repeat their experiments, and so they're coming for us using their weird super tech.
That would actually be kind of interesting because we now possess all of the Asgard tech after they destroyed themselves. They gave everything birth.
Asgard tech. Their Asgard tech would be different because it's 40 million years separated from our Asgard tech.
Yeah. Well, future potential plot point. Destiny fulfills its purpose and manages to go beyond everything we understand the universe to be.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's not quite what we were expecting or what we wanted.
Yeah.
And then
maybe something decides to come through.
I heard somebody say something the other day that what needs to happen is they need to run into something like the Reapers from Mass Effect.
Yeah, or something akin to like the Yuuzhan Vong in Star Wars.
Yeah. No, I like that arc, but let's keep it real. Let's keep it haunted, right?
Haunted. Yeah.
Haunted. An AI enemy that is not replicator but utilizes replication technology, is not Asgardian, utilizes Asgard technology, is not Wraith but utilizes Wraith sensibilities and some of their weird magic technology, is not Ori, right? But was made by some other entity that's never mentioned, and that's what shows up. And it's right after, it's between Atlantis landing and San Diego or wherever the hell it went. I can't remember.
It was off the coast of California. Yeah, I thought it was closer to San Francisco, but yeah, it's the Golden Gate Bridge right there.
And then that's what we're having to deal with, is they're here trying to clear out humans so that the Wraith can't reproduce or something trashy like that. Right?
I could see that happening because that's what. Except they already did that. They already did that story. Like the fucking Pegasus replicators tried to wipe out humanity because it was the food source of their enemy.
But this isn't the replicators, right? This is some other intellect that has utilized all of these various technologies to come here and start here to eliminate human food for the Wraith, so that the ones coming here will die of starvation when they get here.
Yeah,
that's the plan. So even after we beat the AI guys, we got to turn around and defeat the Wraith. that are also coming.
Yeah, so I don't know.
That's
I mean,
seasons for nothing.
here's the thing. This is why I'm cautiously optimistic, is because it is possible to go forward with this. With there's so many different directions you could take that aren't fucking The Message, that are just great fucking sci-fi. It can be done. I am trepidatious as to whether it will be done or not, but it can be done.
I stand by the concept that if the writing and performance is good enough, the message can be there and it won't necessarily ruin it.
I think what they could do is take a leaf out of Babylon 5's book.
Yes!
And to a certain extent, some of the later seasons of DS9. Just make a show about the uneasy alliances amongst all of these different civilizations and life forms. And just make sure that nothing is forever.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's infinite drama right there.
Yeah.
All right. So Babylon, bringing up the holy echelon of Babylon 5. That I'm not sure that's actually fair given the circumstances.
I might get all heretical about it.
Right. I'm just saying, like, or you could make the argument of bringing some V type of a threat where it's
they did that. It was the Ashen.
I know.
In fact, they did that twice.
and also once in Atlanta.
Like, look, Stargate's getting to the point where, like, you remember back in the day, everybody would say Simpsons did it or the X-Files did it, right? Because it was true, because the Simpsons and the X-Files pretty much covered everything, right? We're getting to a point where we can say the same thing about Stargate. Like 15 fucking seasons, or 17 seasons on the air, plus 2 made-for-TV movies, plus a theatrical movie, plus some ancillary crap that we don't talk about. Like they did a lot of stuff. A lot of stories have already been told. So, it's kind of interesting. What's real quick off topic? Zilege says, I don't want to mess with the Wraith. Have you seen the outtakes from Atlantis, some of the behind the scenes stuff where Tori Higgins says, I would do a Wraith?
Probably, look, some of them Wraith chicks just look like really intense goth girls, and
I mean,
I'm not a big fan of the teeth, but
that whole hand thing we're gonna have to deal with, though.
I mean, we'll figure
imagine
the
hand job, right? Imagine the hand job.
It's a literal hand job.
It's like it'd be like getting a hand job from Vampire Hunter D.
You just be like,
literally
these hands you got. Have you got these all over your body?
Come on, Higgies.
I can't remember her name, but if I recall correctly, almost all of the Wraith queens, all of the female Wraith, were all played by the same woman in different makeup jobs.
I think it might have been, yeah.
I don't think that was them pulling a fast one. I think that was
Rachel Luttrell when she got cosmetically altered to look like one.
I think that was a byproduct of the lore of the Wraith Queens themselves being a biological clone of the original queen that they killed.
Yeah. Or, I mean, also it's probably just cheaper to hire the same actress than hold tryouts every fucking time.
I'm wrong.
Well, that's why Michael Shanks did so many roles on the show.
Yeah.
I'm wrong. They didn't kill her. She is in stasis somewhere. And all of the different Wraith hives that are out there operating are basically seeking out technology and skills and things that are.
Wait, are you talking about the queen that killed Sumner?
Maybe
in the pilot, because she's dead.
Okay, no. She was also a clone. That's what I'm saying.
This is like the ancient queen, right?
Yeah, this is the original queen that spawned the Wraith species and as a space galactic faring civilization in the first place.
Not to be confused with Queen of the Ancients, because that would be something totally different.
Totally different. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I love this universe. This is this ID. That's not the word I'm looking. The IP. I'll just go with IP. I love this IP. I've always loved this IP. It's probably my favorite. ever. You know, like people talk about what their favorite is. Like, you know, I grew up around people who were either Star Trek or Star Wars. You can't have one or can't have the other. I was a gatey. I like Star Trek. I like Star Wars.
Brown coats forever.
I like Firefly, man. I like BSG, but my first and foremost is always going to be the Gate.
Dude, I cried when they canceled Firefly.
Everybody cried when they canceled Firefly.
Full on. I lost the last 2 episodes, Heart of Gold and Deep Space, or the Black
Objects in Space.
Objects in Space. That's it. Right. I didn't get to see those until years later when I finally got a computer and was able to pirate it off the internet.
No, they didn't air. There were 3 episodes that never aired.
Right.
You know, so like you could only get them on the DVD release years later. There are 14 episodes total, but only like 11 of them ever saw the light of day on television.
I have bought that series at least a dozen times in solid format, and it gets stolen. It almost immediately upon it coming home and getting put in the place of honor on my shelf, it vanishes.
Yeah.
Very next time I go looking for it, it's not there.
God damn.
I got one for you. This isn't exactly the same kind of thing that we were talking about. It's a little different. Any of y'all ever see the Lost Room series?
Can't say as I had. I
The
heard
Lost
about
Room.
This. I heard
Lost
about
Room.
this. But I didn't see it.
Bro. All right, so people who watch Lost Room are really into the Lost Room, just like people who watched Firefly are really into Firefly. The Lost Room was a one-off series, but it was done in the style of like a mini series, but more episodes, right? So it's a series. The premise is some arcane activity took place back in the 50s in a hotel room outside of Gallup, New Mexico, that broke reality. And what the hell ever happened in that hotel room, bits of it have landed in the universe in places on the earth. And these objects are more real than reality, and they do things like, and it's only trial and error unless you figure out what they do. Like a pair of scissors that literally twists you the way you turn them, right? You point at them and it just breaks them into a little ball. Really fuck people up. A watch that
Sounds
makes
a little bit like Warehouse 13 on a smaller scale.
Sort of. Very small scale, but the objects themselves are so much more powerful than the Warehouse 13 concept. There's an eyeball that literally grants life and death. So there's a bit of a Vecna lean on all this. It's wild. It's a good series. If you get a chance, if you just want to fucking kill a day doing absolutely nothing, watch the whole damn thing from start to finish, because that's how it was filmed. Unlike a lot of series that are filmed like as they go along, they're writing script. This thing was completely written before the first episode was finished filming.
Yeah, like it was meant as a one-off.
Yeah. Well, it was meant as like a sounding board. They were attempting to launch a new IP with new lore and everything, and wanted to see how receptive people were to it. And it got a slow start because it's such a weird concept of something that happened in 1955 being so important that it altered the universe irrevocably and created literal fucking artifacts out of modern, our everyday objects.
Yeah.
The comb stops time.
I might that seems weird. There's a watch too, but it doesn't do that.
Well, the watch makes a hard-boiled egg. You hold the egg over the top of it and for like 1 minute, and then it's a hard-boiled egg, and it's not hot.
I've just checked it. I think I actually downloaded that show at some point, but I just have never gotten around to watching it.
I can't remember who it was that wrote the series, but they were fucking killer. I just remember liking some of the other stuff they did. And the dude who directed the whole thing, he got replaced in like the last 3 episodes, which is why they kind of go weird, because they had a lot of footage, you know, and the new director really didn't really know what was supposed to be happening, because the writer never explained how any of this happened.
Nice.
It's very well done, left open in every direction. There's a bus ticket that takes you to a diner outside of Gallup, New Mexico. That's all it does. Anybody you touch with it. The guy's like the detective that you're following through the show takes it from him, and there's some tape on it, and he peels the tape off so he can get the address, and he's like, do you have any idea how hard it is to put tape on that thing? You end up in Gallup, New Mexico, and the ticket falls to the ground.
What did you all think of Eureka?
Loved the concept. I did not like it has a very Fallout series kind of feel to it. It's happy-go-lucky and sort of slapsticky fun with super
like
technology.
Real dark undercurrent. Yeah.
There is, but the surface is so gimmicky that I had a hard time taking it seriously.
I actually love that show. I think that it kind of loses its way about the halfway through the fourth season, but otherwise, yeah, I loved it myself.
It's part of a shared universe with Warehouse 13, isn't it?
There were some crossover episodes. They're not like shared universe. They're sort of like brushed against each other universe kind of thing. But yeah, that was the other thing. I really loved Warehouse 13 too. I only recently this last year watched it from beginning to end, and I'd heard about it and I'd seen the crossover episodes, but I hadn't really got into the show until earlier this year. And I finally sat down and watched the whole thing. Fucking love that show too.
One of the weirdest crossovers I'd ever seen was Sleepy Hollow and Bones.
Didn't know that happened.
I got one.
Yeah.
And this is going to break your little brain. Farscape. Dude. The number of hot chicks in that film rivals Star Trek when it comes to it. Because it's not just that there's lots of hot chicks, which there are, but the showrunners of the show are all 10s in their own right. That's where the chick, what was the chick's name? The dark-haired chick that shows up about
Claudia
half
Black.
Yes, that's where Claudia Black was from that show.
I've seen some Farscape, but I couldn't get past the goddamn Muppets.
Yeah, I know, man.
Yeah, it's a good show. It's worth riding it out.
I watched it while I was on drugs. It's fine. It's good.
I've tried to watch it.
I was drunk
this year, and I can't get past it. Like I just go to fuck to sleep, man. It's not doing it for me.
Well, there was like that and Lex that are sort of like late night shows.
First of all, Lex is a whole other horny ass animal.
Hell yeah!
Oh, God.
If you're in a ship that is literally shaped like a giant cock
of a show
flying through space, and the fucking captain is a reformed prostitute. I mean, what more do you need?
I'm just saying, Lex is a that's not even in the same category as everything else you just mentioned.
No,
it was basically Skinamax's answer to sci-fi.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that was not. I don't know, man. I think though, God, I want to talk about the thing in Eureka that really sucked me in, but I can't do that without getting into spoilers. Chat, you good with that? Oh, let me know.
Come on, chat.
So, if you're cool with it, we'll go ahead. But if not, if you'd rather watch it yourself, I'll shut the fuck up. But for Eureka, specifically,
Lex is just an excuse to goon.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. They seem to be on board with it. Anybody coming in, we're going to be talking a little bit of spoilage here. I mean, we tend to do that anyway without warning, but it is what it is.
You came here, we didn't make you.
The second season after Kim has been killed by the artifact, the character of Henry takes a very dark turn. Right? Just vengeful, just mean. Like he's still putting on a front for everybody, but he's real angry with Jack because he blames Jack for, everything. And like that character development, he was played by a guy named Joe Morton, who you also might recognize from other things like Terminator 2, where he played Miles Dyson.
Yep.
Just some of the most brilliant fucking character work I've ever seen on screen. With this one particular arc and this one particular character, it was so fucking good. I was kind of sucked in after that, like, like, because I think it was the season finale of episode 1 where everything changed. It was 4 years later. Jack was married to so and so, and they were big tornado came and all blah blah blah, lots of stuff. And the only reason that and everything started falling apart because Kim wasn't supposed to be alive in that timeline. Right, but she was, because Henry had gone back in time and stopped her from being killed, and then changed the future. And then Jack had to go back and prevent him from saving Kim to change the future, which meant he had to sacrifice his own life, his soon-to-be born child, his marriage, his entire fucking future that he'd built, had to be sacrificed because Kim couldn't be allowed to live, or reality would disintegrate and everybody would die.
That's a tough one, man.
And I'm not even getting into the dynamics of the time travel shit, because obviously that can't be done in a way that makes sense on screen. It's time travel is, you either accept it as part of the show and just don't fucking question it too hard, or you don't, whatever. But the interactions between them is Jack being Henry's best friend, and Henry just being fucking utterly destroyed by Kim's death, and the fact that Jack was the one who prevented him from saving her, and he knows intellectually, of course, that is the right course of action, but like he can't rectify that with how much he hates Jack for this, and it created some really, really good tension between them, particularly after he erased Jack's memory of the whole thing, and Jack had no fucking idea what had happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, that sold me on the show. I watched the rest of it from then on. I have all of it on DVD, man.
Well, there's been a few mentions of it in the chat. There was a show back from I think it was the early 90s, Erie, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
It was mainly aimed at kids, but it was actually a pretty solid sci-fi show in and of itself.
Fallen Skies.
My brother-in-law loves Falling Skies. I could never. I had a hard time.
Shaky couple of first seasons.
Though that's the thing. I never got past the first 2 seasons.
Those were the best ones, though.
I
swear to God,
it was like Red Dawn with fucking aliens.
Yes,
not
exactly. No, it's better. It's so much better. It's Red Dawn with aliens and a history teacher as a commander, who basically he's an American history teacher, and whenever the questions of like, what do we do? Where do we go? Oh, well, when the colonials were retreating from, homeboy's army, they hid here, there, and here, and it works today, which is retarded, but at the same time, it is a lovely historical narrative. It's a great story. It just makes no sense. And it makes less sense when they get where they can actually start killing skitters dime a dozen, and then the mechs show up, and then they can kill mechs a dime a dozens, and then the lizard people, the weird clone people show up. And I'm like, dude, I swear to God, I'd have captured one of them fuckers in the first 6 months. No way in hell those aliens got over on me. No.
Okay.
Georgia would be where they came to die.
There was another show. I think it was called.
I don't like Noah Wiley that much though either. So
I'm not a huge fan. There was another show that was actually called Revolution. I think it's set in a future in which there's been a global blackout and most forms of technology aren't usable anymore. That is a bit of a shaky one at first because it's like a future period drama. But you see the realities of life without that technology panning out.
Yeah, but
and unfortunately, it does take a turn later on that makes it so much more interesting. And that's the point at which it got cancelled. Because, of course.
You could achieve the same effect, though, by making a show about the Middle Ages.
Not this one.
No.
because I can't really say anything because it's way too spoilery. Let's just say that the technology that we have now is still around, but there's no power. But there's a reason why there's no power. But power can be had. If only you pray hard enough.
So,
and not to what you might think.
So, like, if the Ori showed up in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, sure.
I just mentioned that because, like, they're living in a post-technological world and they're trying to restore power via this hydroelectric dam, right?
Kind of, yeah.
And they can't do it on their own. So if the Ori come up and they're like, "Hey, we'll take care of that for you. We just a little prayer, little hail here and there,
yeah, yeah.
No, I don't know, man.
Except the thing that controls the power is everywhere and in everything.
This sounds like more and more like I have no mouth and I must scream.
Yeah, that's what makes it actually really quite compelling. You get the whole historical drama aspect of it, in which you've got warring factions and states and yada yada. Sure, that's interesting. It's interesting at most. And then once you sort of find out what happened in the past, and then you start to realize why it happened, it gets really good. Cancelled.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is the way of things, though, too, right? Especially like what network did it air on?
Which one?
Revolution. I have no idea.
I don't know either. The only reason I ask is because if it was Fox, yeah, they have a history of canceling things right when they're getting good. So, or Netflix would do that too. Would cancel shit right when it was starting to not suck.
Yeah. NBC.
Yeah. Okay, I could see that.
Yeah, NBC doesn't have a great track record with keeping around good shows either.
Yeah. Heroes was on NBC and they really...
Oh my God. Dude, I altered my working schedule around the changes of Heroes in the last few months. I'm not even joking. Like, I went in and stood flat-footed in front of my boss and was like, no, I've got to be home by 3:30. Heroes. I'll come back to work. It's just I've got to go watch the show. And he stood there. He's like, I'm going to fire you, right? I said, fucking fire me, dude. Who'll work for your dumb ass?
Yeah.
Did he fire you? I mean, that's the question I want to know. Did he fire you?
No, he was blowing smoke up. Remember I told you I had a job where all I had to do was sit around and read a book. And when the lady that owned the place come by, get up, walk around, and take blame for everything that was wrong.
Yeah, this was that job. Okay,
this was that job. There was no firing me. If you fired me, everybody got fired.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, no, I see, and that's the thing. Heroes started strong.
Cheerleaders.
That first season, that was amazing.
That first season is still one of the best fucking seasons that television ever made.
Yes. I can't even watch it again. I've tried to go back and watch it again. It just makes me fucking sick how good it is.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. And that second season started strong, but then that fucking first writer strike happened.
All right, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, and I'm serious about this. Heroes was released on a weekly schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Most shows nowadays release 2 or 3 episodes at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Would Heroes have been as good as it was perceived at the time had it been released on a Netflix or an Amazon type schedule?
So it's the weekly versus binge model again.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been necessarily as talked about because people would have gotten like more in one sitting. Like they do now, but I can say the weekly model, I think, worked in their favor at the time because, like, oh my God, did you see what happened this week? Be talking about it all fucking week. We have to be there next week to see what fucking happens after this, and so on and so forth. And I think that really benefited the show at the time, but also having seen it, having binged through the entire series on fucking DVD in one sitting, right? It doesn't make it less compelling.
Right. Yeah. No, I've done that too. It's there. All right. Which season was it that had Homeboy go back to feudal Japan?
3, I think it was season 3.
And there was the white samurai who was the black samurai.
Yeah, he was basically Claire, but a dude.
Yeah. And that whole arc was so beautiful. I got over the fact that it was terrible writing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I would watch just about anything that fucking Hiro Nakamura did in that show. He was my favorite fucking character. I love that man.
Yeah,
that
it was
little
great.
Japanese man was like the light of my goddamn life. Like I almost cried a little bit when like Dark Future Hero came back in time, and I'm like, oh, look what they did to my boy. They massacred my boy.
Yeah, he speaks perfect English now. What the fuck happened?
What the fuck happened?
Yeah.
How dare you? What did you do?
Like I fucking love that.
But it does bring up a question, and I think you would do well to go look at him in Future Dark Guy and ask the question, what has he gone through that he ended up looking like that?
Well, he comes back with a full-on ponytail, a katana, a Matrix jacket, and a big-ass scar across his face.
Right?
I think he just discovered goth music.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, is it may have just been one Dobby Bobby that got it there. American Girls.
If I remember, if I recall correctly, how he described himself, I believe it was master of space and time, because he could teleport, he could time travel, he could stop time, he could do all. It was kind of crazy how powerful this kid was.
Yeah, messing around with time breaks almost any plot line anywhere all the time. It is like saying there's multiple dimensions. Immediate plot.
That's why they kept finding ways to fucking nerf him, like send him back to 16th century Japan where he doesn't have his powers. And he has to learn other skills to survive. Right. They did that because he frankly Hero could have fucking fixed everything if he had put a mind to it.
Yeah, of course he could.
And also, one of the greatest rug pulls in cinematic history happens in that fucking film. Save the cheerleader, save the world, and you couldn't kill that bitch if you wanted to.
Right?
Yeah, that became such a cultural moment,
But remember, you couldn't
just drop it in conversation, and you'd see that knowing nod from people, and be like,
"Yep,
yeah,
right."
I fucking love Heroes too.
I see where you're going with the Sasquatch, but I don't quite agree, because you're also looking at it like, if you look at it from Isaac's perspective, the first guy to say "save the cheerleader, save the world," the dude who painted the future, right?
Yeah,
he doesn't have all of the pieces. He doesn't know she's immortal.
Sure.
He just knows that she's the key to everything, because the reason that you got to save the cheerleader from Siler is because you don't want him being immortal.
No, you missed it. Okay, if you go back and watch Isaac's paintings, and a lot of those paintings, the dead cheerleader, there's a dead body in the painting, and it's one of the scenes that Claire walks into and gets off, and then stands back up and goes back to doing shit, right? Yeah. And so in his mind, he thought he was seeing the various ways in which the universe would end as the paintings, but in reality he was painting continuous frames of her continuous existence in this universe. Go back and check them out, dude.
I believe, I think the box set actually lays out a lot of his paintings on the interior artwork. you can check them out there as well.
I might have watched that series triggered my autism in a way very few things did. Lost Room did too.
God, it was so fucking well done until it wasn't, and then it was again, but nobody was watching by season 4, because season 4 is fucking great in my opinion, but nobody watched it because season 3 kind of fucked and drove everybody away.
Was that the one where Lizard Boy shows up?
That's the one with the fucking moving carnival with the guy who can control Earth.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that wasn't bad.
Yeah, I really like that. That Ray Park shows up as a fucking knife freak.
The season before that was absolute unmitigated refried trash. That whole lizard cockroach.
Yeah, but the whole reason for that was external influence. I mean, like, obviously they kind of lost their way a little bit, but there was that writer strike break in season 2. That's why season 2 is short and truncated, right? Yep. And then when they came back, they were having to make do with other fucking writers who didn't really understand the show.
Well, here's what's the most tragic thing as well, is that when they brought it back with Heroes Reborn, in one season, it managed to replicate all of the mistakes and all of the triumphs of the original show.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
Started out strong, dipped furiously, ended on a completely mid-ending.
I've got a better example of things that started a series that started really strong and freaking shot themselves in the foot immediately on second season. Zoo. Did you watch any of Zoo? Nope. All right, watch the first season. Don't you dare even look at a trailer for the second season.
I saw the first episode of the first season, and I just thought, okay, I see where you're coming from, but this is a bit too silly even for me.
No, it is silly. It is silly. It's they wrap it up at the end. It's basically Planet of the Apes, except the virus infects everything but humans. And the originator of the virus, or at least the oldest infected of the virus, has one-way communication with all the other infected. So whatever the original species 0 is, gets to decide what it is they're doing. And so all the animals on Earth essentially attack humans because species 0 was an abused lion in a fucking zoo. He hated people.
Yeah.
I might have watched that one a little too closely too. In fact, it seems to be a problem with me, come to think of it.
God damn it.
No.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The second season on that is, and I swear to God, there was a conversation that happened, and they were like, "Oh, this is great, the whole thing, every bit of it, I love it. So, what are you going to do for second season?" And they went, "What? What do you mean a second season?" It was like that scene in fucking Family Guy of Stephen King going, "It's a haunted lamp."
Yeah.
Because I mean, I swear to God,
I was like, "Yeah, you're not even trying now." And he's like, "Okay."
In the second season,
how soon can we have it?
Yeah, right. That's exactly it. Second season, like the whole deviant pupil thing and the virus and all of that has become assumed lore of the past, right? And we're 5 years later or some trash like that. And now this is a hardened survival team of what in a normal apocalyptic scenario would be zombie hunters, right? But in this apocalyptic scenario is basically people who live in high rises with fences and pretty good and no dogs, right?
Yeah.
They all live in gated communities, and that's how that worked out.
Yeah, they're patrolling the streets and are like, "Was that a zombie?" I was like, "No, that's ridiculous. It was a gibbon." Oh shit, too low.
Exactly. The best part about it is, in the first season, all of the animals are capable of being killed, just absolutely normal. It's just that if you've never seen a herd of deer, you might not understand the danger it actually poses in that situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you think one running out in front of you in the middle of the fucking interstate is a problem. Wait until 200 of them start aiming.
Yeah.
Right. Or, in my own personal experience, wait until you're just walking on a path in the middle of a city that happens to be in a grassy area with some trees and shit. And you hear this pawing and a snort off to your right. And there's a fucking 6-point buck fucking lowering his head at you.
Yep.
Right. I was in the middle of a metropolitan area, by the way. I don't know how the fuck he got in there in the first place.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He took a cab.
Like, I'm just saying that deer are unpredictable, and they're not your friends. So
season 2 sucked so bad because their problem was they've evolved, and basically they were superheroes except animals. And so there was the invisible boa and the hypnotizing crab and
What?
and there was like an electric frog or some shit. It was like 7 foot tall and really big, but it was just a fucking smart frog. Bullywug intelligence. We're talking like 7 tops.
Yeah, I think my
hilarious.
Watched some of Zoo, but I never watched it myself.
Like I said,
now that I know that it gets that batshit, I might actually watch the whole thing.
Watch the first season for sure. It's worth the time. It's really a good watch. It's a little bit dated because of like some of the technology and stuff. It's funny because in the show they're actually depicting things that haven't been invented yet, but by the time the show comes out, the Apple iPad existed, and so it kind of shoots itself in the foot right out of the gate, trying to be all futuristic but not. It's funny. Oh,
I'll
God,
tell you something that
really funny scenes in there.
Something that was a really fucking great show. Again, cancelled. Travelers.
It had so much potential.
Yeah.
So much potential.
Yeah. Eric McCormick, I've never really rated him that much as an actor, but he was good in that show. And the writing was so solid. Man. Just fucking bums me out. It technically got cancelled twice. It's like, but everyone loves this show. What the fuck are you doing?
Right? Sliders, of course, you have to bring that up. But let me tell you the quintessential show of like one of my, beyond Firefly, beyond District 9, beyond Alien Nation and V. Right? Yeah. I lost it. Fuck.
Well, it must be something special then.
It is. I named some others that I liked more, and I lost the one I was gonna. Oh yeah, no, I remember Terra Nova. We go back 63 years in the time of the dinosaurs and establish a colony in the past to rate the resources of the Earth to go to the stars.
You know, I always got that one confused with Earth 2.
Yeah, no, they're very similar but different.
They were around the same time period too.
Yeah,
like in terms of airing, they came out around the same time.
I kind of like the way they approached the colonization of the past, the time tunnel, and the fact that they did. If you watch the first couple of episodes, there are a dozen or 24 Easter egg references in scenes, in the background, in the people they introduce, and the names used, and like names on lists and stuff. When you break it down, this is another one I might have watched a little too much. When you break it down and look at the way these things are put together, it does an ode to like some Star Wars scenes. It does odes to various like Metropolis and some of the early Dark Knight comics and stuff. And it's beautiful. The CGI is decently well done, semi-believable. And there was this one plot line, and this got canceled, I think, after the first season. There's this one plot line where the people who went back in time found writings about the time tunnel, right? And these things were literally carved in rock several hundred years before they got there. And the people who made the time tunnel think they were the first people to make a time tunnel. And so there's this huge crossover bit between what are referred to as 76ers, which was a previous time tunnel experiment that came to the same time, except the fact that one of the 76ers is like 90 years old. And he swears he's a 76er, just like everyone else, except when we got here the first time. And then it gets weird.
Yeah. That sounds like some I don't know. I never watched Terra Nova. I had heard that it was on and all that. I did watch some of Earth 2, but I don't remember a whole lot of it.
Earth 2 is kind of generic. It does the thing.
Yeah, it was one of Roddenberry's like one-off experiments, I think, right? Something along those lines. It was very much inspired by that, but this was before Andromeda was a thing, though. So
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I watched some of that stuff, but the way you're describing like time tunnel and like the repercussions of well, the butterfly stepping, frankly, it makes me think of the Bradbury story as Sound of Thunder, the way that it works in that, right? You know, for those of you who haven't read the story or seen one of the adaptations of it, essentially it's a fucking safari agency that sends you back in time to kill a dinosaur, but because it's always a dinosaur who's about to die anyway, right? You have to stay on the floating path that doesn't touch anything. You are not allowed to interact with any other thing except that dinosaur, right? And it's going to die anyway, which is the only reason that you're allowed to fuck it up. And then you have to report immediately back, because if you so much as change even the tiniest thing, there will be consequences, right? So homeboy goes back, kills his dinosaur, he accidentally steps off the path and crushes a bright blue butterfly. Which, by the way, I think is... No, never mind. It has nothing to do with that. So anyway,
and that is how AIDS was invented.
Well, he gets back, and time is changing all around him. His present is changing into another future.
Yeah.
And just before their mind gets wiped, the tourist agency was like, "Yeah, you went and did it, didn't you?" And then they blow him away. And then time changes. So,
nice.
It's like you don't get to continue to exist because you fucked up all of human history by stepping on that butterfly.
So this one's a movie. I think it's a movie. It might have been a series, but I think it's a movie. There was one called River World. You ever stumble across that one?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
no,
that rings a bell.
When you die, you don't go to heaven or hell. You go to a place to await judgment, right? And in this place, you are as you picture yourself, and you're a physical, animate person. In all ways, you have to eat, you have to sleep, but you cannot age and you cannot die. And there is a river that runs through it. And the only mentionable feature of this world is basically an eternal river. It appears to be a world of interconnected islands and small, large, and medium-sized continents, and everything flows to a freshwater river that has flows that alter and change randomly, and everyone in the world lives in conjunction with that river. And here's where everything gets freaking weird. Whichever way you go on the river, depending on the flow, determines what direction and time, cause, and effect your travel.
That sounds like a nightmare.
It is an existential nightmare beyond consideration once you get deep enough into it to realize, holy shit, you can literally go back and undo everything that you did by sailing upstream, which, by the way, is a bitch, and the river tries to stop really, really hard. Things get unlucky when you go against the flow. Reality rips and tears. It becomes questionable.
I wonder if that's where Terry Pratchett got his idea about time being a river.
Time's been a river since the concept of time was defined. It flows forward. Mm-hmm. You can't stop.
No, I mean, I get that point, but the idea that, you know, when Pratchett talks about this, like, you know how people are always talking about, well, you can just change the course of the river and you just shunt it off into this timeline here. When Pratchett talks about it, he's like, yeah, you can do that, but it's going to correct itself.
Right. It's the water will still reach the sea.
Yeah, it's like it's you know, he's like you can throw a pebble into it, and yeah, it might cause a local disturbance or whatever, but ultimately in the course of the river of history, it doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter at all, because I can't remember who the author was, but in it, a guy invents time travel, and he goes back to like freaking the mid-Renaissance period. And in the mid-Renaissance period, he runs around trying to meet all of these famous Renaissance painters and thinkers and whatnot. And in so doing, he quotes unto them the various quotations that they are attributed with, helps, accidentally gets Michelangelo hired to pay, or indebted to paint the Sistine Chapel, had a conversation with Nostradamus before he realized who he was. Ends up running across freaking. Anyway, there's various different personages that he goes and meets, like Leonardo. He ends up in a coffee shop. He was trying to find Leonardo, and the thing does what it's supposed to do. But this is one of the early trips, and he doesn't have a lot of control over like the target date, and so he ends up getting there a little early, like 45 years early, and he ends up in a bar talking to some old dude that looks like the guy that he's looking for, and he's trying to convince him that he's Leonardo because you look just fucking like him, and he tells him all about all the inventions that he did, and the whole time there's like an 8-year-old kid cleaning the table next to him, and that's Leonardo. He overheard his own ideas and went on to develop them as his own ideas,
like Mayor Goldie.
Yeah.
He was the bus boy at the local soda hop.
I just learned. He just listened.
Yeah,
right.
He's like,
you're
going to be mayor. Hey, that's an idea. I should run for mayor someday.
Exactly. I just watched those movies the other day for no explicable reason. I just walked in, sat down, was like, we're watching
so much fucking fun, man. There's so much fun.
Nice.
Like, did you ever watch the? There was a Saturday morning cartoon series too. That they did with Back to the Future, where they were traveling around in a train they had at the end of 3.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was like Doc Brown and Clara and their 2 sons were just fucking up history.
Well, I think we've covered this one once before. Abe, have you watched Primer yet?
Primer.
Primer.
Primer. Yeah, it's a great movie.
It's one of the best time travel movies ever penned by the hand of man.
Oh yeah, if not maybe the best. It's top 10 easy, probably top 5. Maybe top 3. Then again, I'm struggling to think of anything better.
Right, no, that's what I'm saying. Name one that has better continuity than that one. I don't think it can be done. That movie is very tight. It's very tight.
It's very good.
The only movie I can think of involving time travel that is a closed loop, like it doesn't leave a whole lot of room for anything, is The Terminator.
Well, this has
Terminator, just The Terminator.
The Terminator.
Yeah.
Which is annoying though, because Terminator 2 is arguably
unnecessary.
One of my. It might be unnecessary, but it's fucking awesome.
I'm just saying it's unnecessary.
Sir.
I didn't say it wasn't awesome. I'm just saying that it was completely unnecessary and it doesn't add anything to.
I have a hot take.
Movie.
I really like Terminator 3.
Do you just like the Terminatrix, or did you like the movie itself?
I liked the movie itself. I didn't like some of the scenes and some of the directions the plot went, but I did like the overarching.
I liked the ending.
I disagree. Yeah, I think that the ending was fantastic, but the rest of the movie's kind of.
Okay, there's this one scene, dude, that absolutely sucked me in, and it's when they're trying to get away from the military base, and that first hunter killer pops up, and she snatches up an AK and absolutely wastes that fucker. And he's like, "You remind me of my mom."
And I'm weirdly turned on.
Yeah, he's sitting there looking at her, like trying to cover his crotch because he just got a sudden raging boner. He doesn't understand why. Yeah. That scene is so immaculate. I give the rest of the movie a pass.
Yeah, I was half expecting him to go, "Damn, girl."
And there's another scene when they've gotten away from there and they're on their way to the final bunker, right? And and the Terminator that they've got on their side is doing the RV thing, and they're having an argument about what they should do, and then she gives an order, but she's not really talking to him. She's basically talking out loud, but speaks in a declarative statement, and Arnold Schwarzenegger freezes and then continues the action that he was doing, but is then doing something totally different than what he had been doing before. He turns to like loading up ammo and shit, which is very similar type of activity, but not the same, because her order alters his programming to do what she just said. And so rather than unpacking the RV, we're now loading weapons, although it looks like the same. He starts loading weapons into the RV instead of taking shit out of it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's where they decide to go and get the father or something like that, because they fly a helicopter to the base.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a minute since I've seen that, but I think you're right. And
everybody hated on it. They still do. I like it. Give it a choice between 3 movies. I will watch.
Given what came after,
I'll be honest.
Terminator 3 is a masterpiece.
I don't hate Terminator 3, but it does not hold up against the previous entries. Right now,
I'll watch it. It's more of a standalone thing.
Yeah. Now I will say, like Abe, I love that ending. That ending was bleak as fuck, and it was really well done.
Really bleak.
It actually reminded me. You know what Terminator 3 reminds me of? Did you ever see what was that movie called? It was called Cell, I think.
Yes.
Not The Cell, but the one about like the ghosts coming through the fucking like electronic shit and all that stuff, and they were like attacking people because they wanted to be alive again. That movie sucks. It is the most bland, generic, fucking like clearly ripped off from a Japanese idea horror movie of its time, right? But the ending is apocalyptically delicious. It is fantastic. It's hands down one of the best fucking horror movie endings I have ever seen, and it's attached to a movie that otherwise blows.
Nice.
So that's where I think about Terminator 3. Arguably, Terminator 3 is a better movie overall than this one, but it's got that kind of ending, that sucker punch ending.
All right. Now this isn't sci-fi, but this is fiction. Of a different sort. Definitely horror genre. How deeply have y'all seen Bone Tomahawk?
No, been told to watch it, but I haven't seen it.
Dude,
no,
that is worth the time, bro. Both of you bad, naughty gentlemen. Listen, this week, before next week, I want to talk to you about Bone Tomahawk. I want you to watch it and have a few days to digest what you just watched, because it's loosely the story of Beowulf, if Beowulf happened in like Montana or Wyoming in the 1860s. Just watch it, dude. It's I almost thought yes. There's a stack of actors and actresses in there. If you look closely, it quietly came out. It went to theaters. It didn't make a big splash. It just came out on straight. It might have actually gone straight to streaming service, now that I think about it. Okay. I don't think it got a theater release, but it didn't make a big splash at first. But in horror circles, it's gaining huge following because of how cosmically horrible it is.
See, I was under the impression it was a Western about cannibals.
It is a Western. It's a Western. Have you seen The Descent?
Yeah, I love The Descent. It's one of my favorite horror movies of the 3 decades.
Imagine The Descent takes place, and they're not the only tribe of underground troglodytes that are hunting people for food, but there are cells of them in caves all over the world, and Bone Tomahawk is an earlier encroachment of them. Now, you could interpret these troglodytes as being Homo erectus, Homo Neanderthal, freaking Java Man, for all you freaking want to. But in reality, they are the existential horror in the dark. There's a single scene in it that makes everything completely evil. It's a cultural evil. The one dude is running away from something, and you know what he's running from. You know what's going to happen. There is no surprise in any of this, and this does not blow any of it. It's just the most evil, and it's never referenced. No one says a word about it. The camera pans through while they're running, and on splints built into the walls of the cave are pregnant women with their arms and legs cut off. There's like 7 of them. And they've got their tongue cut out, and they've got something around their throat that's got them chained down, or not chained, but like tied down to the spot. Everything they work with is bone and wood. They basically only just entered the Stone Age, but they're so fucking vicious that you're not prepared for it. You'd figure somebody with a pistol just be like blam, 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 blam. But they're super sneaky. They only come out at night, and they hunt you right when you least expect it. It is an excellently well done horror that goes straight to the core of horror, done in the style of like a Kurosawa Western, right? It's beautiful.
They mostly come in. Right? Mostly. Fucking dude. I will check it out. I can't guarantee it'll happen by next week, but I will check it out. I
watch it every Halloween.
Fucking ring my own bell here with the aliens reference. I fucking hate aliens so much. I think it ruins the entire goddamn series going forward. I think it should have stuck with one fucking movie. First one. That's it. Newt is a goddamn pox upon that series. And I don't care who disagrees with me on that, because you're entitled to your opinion. Mine is the correct one.
That's how I feel about Joss Whedon on Star Trek. The second that kid showed up, the whole series went to hell in a handbasket.
Oh, you mean Will Whedon?
Yeah, Will Wheaton.
You're the second person this week who's confused him with Joss Whedon to me.
The
other one was my mother.
I know, one piece of shit. The next. Who cares?
Joss Whedon wrote Firefly and that
Buffy,
a short
Angel,
all kinds of shit, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
the Avengers, brilliant.
To this day, I'm utterly flummoxed that Firefly didn't make it. Now I realize it was competing with all sorts of other sci-fi at the same time, but dear God, the quality in that show was absolutely killer.
You're right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I miss it.
I don't have it readily available. Arden,
I keep it on tap.
I used to have "Shut Up, Wesley" on a fucking clip.
You need that for the show, dude. A Shut Up, Wesley, and a
we had it for Engage when we were doing that show. So I mean, I know I have it somewhere. I just don't have it readily available on this on this setup here. But yeah, we had that for Engage because our guests were called Wesley. No matter who they were, who our Wesley was this week, and then when they would say something, we'd be like, "Shut up, Wesley."
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole thing. It's kind of messed up, but yeah, I used to have that clip uploaded. I think it's on a different set than this though, so I don't know if I can transfer that over right yet.
You don't got to do it right now, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think the time is probably near. We're coming up on the dude. We've been rambling about sci-fi for a fucking hour and a half, man.
Dude, I could do this endlessly.
We
could do it about books. We could do it about
we could do this full time. Fuck it.
No, this was great. I enjoyed the hell out of this. We didn't have to get into any bullshit going on in the world or any of that nonsense. We just talking about
the
shit
news.
we like.
More about the old.
That's the thing. Like on occasion, we are going to have to fucking delve into stuff because I'm going to want to talk about it, and it's my fucking show. But
yeah, but if we distract you, we don't have to.
On occasion, well, like that's the thing. Like we can change it up once in a while and just have a fucking bullshit conversation like we had today. I've enjoyed myself fucking thoroughly this evening. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Next week, we're going to go over M. Night Shyamalan and the best twist.
Split. The end of Split.
Dude.
Like the very end of Split. Where David Dunn shows up.
I know, but I like The Village.
No, I like The Village too. I'm one of the only people who's going to agree with you on that. I actually like that movie. I think it's a good fucking movie.
I've got the ultimate answer to that.
But conversely,
M. Night Shyamalan
is a piece of shit.
M. Night Shyamalan actually hates twists. What a twist!
What a twist!
What a twist!
Like, do it like he did in the Robot Chicken.
Robot Chicken.
What a twist!
Yeah.
What a twist! What was the first one? one that got
breakout role was The Sixth Sense.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. My wife got so mad at me. I come walking in and sat down with a cup of coffee, and I was like, "What you watching?" She's like, "It's The Sixth Sense," and I had heard nothing about this movie, nothing at all. Right, and we get about 10 minutes into it, and I'm like, "Why is he gray and that kid looks alive? Wait, is he dead? Is that a ghost?" I think it's a ghost. And he's like, I just watched the movie, and every now and then he'll do something, and the kid reacts, but no one else does. And I'm like, I think he's a ghost. He's like a hallucination. This kid bumped his head. Did I miss the kid bumping his head somewhere? Is he having is he in a coma or something? And when we got to the end and the twist dropped, I said, I hate being autistic, because that would have been great. But I just had not noticed the weird color differential that was going on. The lighting.
You're not wrong, because the first time through, for most people, they didn't notice those things. But if you watch it again the second time through, you see all of it.
It's obvious.
It's so obvious.
It's pretty obvious.
He did it so really well in that first go round.
Yep.
Yeah. And
then the happening happened.
All right, hey man, listen, hold on.
Did it happen though?
Not really. I kind of like the happening, but it's not for any of the reasons most people would. I like the actors and actresses that are in it, and I don't hate the story, right? The story kind of has its own little fuck you, dude. I like the happening.
You can like it all you want. I can't get past the goddamn title, man. That is the most generic fucking title for a movie ever. It's like the thing that happened.
Hey, that title happened, mate. It happened.
What was the one where all the fucking bushes and shit were killing people? Was that wasn't
the happening?
That was the happening?
Yeah.
Fuck you, dude.
Shit.
All right, so let me explain. When I watched The Happening the first time, was on a vacation trip with several people who were very friendly, and The Happening was an awesome movie.
Have a good night, Arden.
It's so dumb, man. It was so fucking dumb. I will agree with you. I will agree with you on The Village. Now, I think the twist in that was pretty obvious. I also agree with other people on that. However, it didn't offend me in any way. I thought the movie overall was a good fucking solid movie.
It was still a good movie, even though you could see the twist coming a mile off. It was still good. It's still fun. It's still enjoyable.
I really liked Lady in the Water. A lot of people hated that one. I like that movie. It's a straight up. You know what the
fuck are you?
Look, there is no twist in that movie. It's a straight fairy tale.
It's a straight pile of shit.
I like that movie. You shut it.
It's fucking trash.
I've got to go look that one up.
Yeah, it's got Paul Giamatti in it, man.
even that's not enough to save it.
That's enough to save a lot of shit. No, I like Lady of the Water. I enjoyed it. It was a good time.
Why? Just why?
Starting to understand you a little more, Sasquatch, with that whole bushes thing. I just do. Fuck you.
Fucking hell. It's one of the worst films ever made.
I disagree that it's one of the worst films ever.
Sir, that is some tall words. You've never seen Black Devil Doll from Hell, so don't come at me with that shit.
I was like,
I mean, in all fairness, I am saying this to a dude who, loves
go watch
Velocipasta.
Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter, and then come back.
Actually, after you get done with that, you need to go see Velocipasta. It'll help.
Fucking Velocipasta. You know it's getting the sequel, right?
God damn
it. Fucking hell.
What was that movie that they did based off the comic with the cross burned into his face? The Priest?
Priest?
No. Was it Priest?
It was called Priest.
I think it was, yeah.
Paul fucking
Bettany?
Jarvis. That guy, yeah.
Paul Bettany.
Yeah. Vision.
Yeah.
And it had first of all, that was one of the worst misuses of an actor they've ever freaking cast in history.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have a primo grade A actor and they cast him as a action superhero type.
Yeah.
I don't know how you go from A Beautiful Mind to Priest. That's like,
Yeah.
Well, I do know how you go there. He needs the money.
Yeah. Well, all right. So I can forgive him taking the role. I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue with them casting him when they could have gotten any B-movie generic action star to come do that role, and it would have been better.
It seems more like a Vin Diesel kind of thing.
Right. Vin Diesel, The Rock, any one of those types. You could have got
Jason fucking Statham.
Sure. Fucking Jason Statham. Fine in that role. That'd be actually, in fact, I'm glad AI exists now so that I can watch that movie instead.
Yeah. Literally.
You know what Paul Bettany was actually really surprisingly good, and it was a very similar kind of feel. Did you ever see Legion?
Yes.
I was half expecting you to say Wimbledon or some shit.
No, Legion, where he plays the Archangel Michael and he comes to Earth to prevent the angelic legions from destroying the pregnant lady.
Bro, that scene in the cafe with the old lady.
Right, where she's crawling on the fucking wall and her head spinning around and shit. Yeah.
Eyes everywhere where they're not there, and they are there, and it's like, nah, fuck this, dude. I'll die in the desert.
It's like I'm sat there watching it, just going, I'm not enjoying this terribly.
You know what's really, really fun to me is the fact that a lot of people who saw this movie the first time out are just like, oh, there's just demons everywhere. It's like, you are misunderstanding something. None of the creatures in this movie are demonic. They're all angels.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know what an angel is, and you wouldn't like one if you met one.
Yeah. Exactly, and it does an exceptional job of showing you that directly.
It's the reason why when you meet an angel for the first time, they say, "Be not afraid," because they're fucking terrifying.
Definitely be afraid.
Well, all right. First of all, this is yet another case of, like the Outsiders, you're dealing with pre-time extant creatures, right?
Yeah.
They are terrifying because of the cosmic power they wield, and they do it casually. Like, just them existing may wipe your entire country off of the earth because it had a thought. Or something.
The rules of your reality just don't apply to them.
The best, I think, the best description of like angelic nature that I've ever heard in a movie, right, probably comes from Thomas Daggett's monologue in The Prophecy, where he's talking about Gabriel, who's played by Christopher Walken, right? And he talks about him, and he's like, look, can you imagine what a creature like this must be like? You know, always spending your eternity praising your God, but always with one wing dipped in blood. Now, keep in mind, he is speaking specifically about Gabriel, who is responsible for the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, who wiped out all of the firstborn sons of Egypt. I mean, like a very powerfully destructive being, right? And he says, would you ever really want to meet an angel? It's like, can you imagine what they would be like? you know?
Let's just a slightly more popular angel, Lucifer, who admittedly has met more humans.
Right. Well, Lucifer was played by Viggo Mortensen in that
team,
movie, by the way, so you should definitely watch it if you haven't seen it. It's great. But like one of my favorite Viggo Mortensen lines of all time is in The Prophecy, where he's playing Lucifer and he looks at Virginia Madsen and he goes, look, I can lay you out and fill your mouth with your mother's feces, or we can talk.
That's a great line. I love that.
Oh, dude, there's some good ones in that one. That's some really. I'm gonna have to watch that. I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, I got a 5-movie collection of it because I actually like all of the movies, although the first one is by far the best of them. But I mean, even later when they kind of, so like the first 3 movies, for those who don't know, all revolve around specific prophecies and angels and all that stuff. But Christopher Walken plays Gabriel throughout. Right now in different forms. He's not the same Gabriel in every movie because of the shit that his character goes through, but he is in all of them. He is not in the 5th and the 6th movies because that's basically a soft reboot. It takes place in Romania instead of, New Mexico and all kinds of shit. And they got a different person to play Lucifer, who was now suddenly a main character and not just kind of in the background like he was in the other movies. A guy named John Light, who I thought was fucking fantastic as Lucifer in some less than fantastic movies.
You remember the Pershing scene from The Prophecy? Christopher Walken sitting on the back of the chair in what appears to be a completely inappropriate way. Physics doesn't seem to be able to allow it.
Yeah, he looks like a goddamn crow sitting like perched on on a wire.
Christopher Walken did that shit. They rebuilt the chair after he pulled off the stance on just a normal freaking chair. They rebuilt the chair to guarantee that he wouldn't fall and kill himself. But they were doing some dry rehearsal scene, some dry run, and he was supposed to be walking around the end of the table, and the chair was kind of in the way. And like, you know how Christopher Walken is, kind of handsy with the set. He would like move the chair around and stuff. The director was like, "Stop touching the chair," and action. And he stepped up on the back of the chair and squatted and delivered the line. And they immediately shut down production, brought in a chair, bolted it in place, and said, "Do that again."
But mate, I'm pretty sure he just does that anyway. He probably didn't even know the cameras were on.
All right, so my headcanon, actors pick up the abilities of the roles they play, and that's why Keanu Reeves is such a badass in John Wick, because he's
fuck, I love those movies. I'm gonna have to watch fucking prophecy movies again real soon myself.
Yeah,
I love those fucking movies, man. I love them. Like the bit where he's driving along with Adam, what's his name, right? And they're just in the desert with the top down and all that. And the guy's like, "I don't understand why you need me, man. Why the fuck do you need me? You can't just do this yourself." And he's like, "Look, it's a big universe, Jerry, and some things in it are talking monkey work. Talking monkeys, Jerry, like you."
I have tried to do Christopher Walken impression my entire life.
I'm just repeating the line, man. I can't touch his delivery.
No. The delivery was great, dude. It's way better than what I could do. I sound like Chris Christopherson trying to do a Christopher Walken impression, which is just funny.
Yeah. Later on, he does the same thing with Rachel when she's like, "Why?" You know, and he's like, "I can't drive, but I can wait until the stars burn out if you don't make up your mind." I love the fucking line delivery in this movie.
The lines, you're right. The line delivery is what gives that weird existential crisis feeling to it. This isn't a now. This is a now decision, but the repercussions will echo through eternity. Yeah. And you can tell by the way the lines are delivered and what lines are delivered.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was in the first one or not. There was another one where somebody gets threatened with it's like, "I can see to it that you spend your next eternity or the next millennium chained to a wall, wondering just what that thing is that's been crawling up your anus for the last 1,000 years." Like I'm pretty sure I fucked up that line, but I can't remember exactly which movie that's in. But there is a lot of dialogue like this. It's really great. And for those of you who are not sold on this, keep in mind, this series was created, and the first one was written and directed by Gregory Wyden, who is famously known for Backdraft and Highlander.
Bingo.
So yeah, it's good stuff. It is. It just didn't do so well in the theaters.
Well, no, it was too dark, dude. Like a bunch of goths watched it, but everyone else at the time were kind of fed up with the dark, satanic, evil. It just didn't play well because it also, if I remember right, it released against like an Omen sequel or some shit.
Yeah, well, it didn't do very well in theaters. It didn't stay in theaters very long. The first time I saw it was actually on Stars after the theater run.
Wow, Stars.
Yeah,
God. I'm pretty sure I saw it on VHS as a rental once.
I definitely.
I still have the copy that I fucking recorded from Stars on VHS. It's got my handwriting on the label.
All right, so I'm going to tell you a secret, and then I'm getting the hell out of here. Yeah, when I was courting my wife, one of the things that I did, I found out that she had grown up in like a Lutheran household, and that they were
not to be confused with Luciferian.
Not at all. Not at all. These are the people who wear white to their funerals. And she was like Hallmark kid, right? All of it was Disney and Hallmark and that stuff. And one of the first times we weren't actually on a date was just hanging around. I had a copy of Reservoir Dogs, and I popped in Reservoir Dogs, and she watched it spellbound all the way through, and then looked at me and went, "That was great." do you know any other movies like that? And I went, I worked at a movie store at this time. I said, stay here. I'll be right back. And I went and got the House of Thousand Corpses.
I was going to say you went straight from something like Reservoir Dogs. So you're like, have you ever heard of a Serbian film?
No, not yes, no. House of a Thousand Corpses isn't far off. But after that, one of the things that we did is we had these 2 VHSs, and while she was at home or at college or doing whatever, I would record 3 movies onto a VHS, and when we'd meet, we'd swap out the tapes. And
nice.
That's essentially how she got most of her
like a film mixtape.
Basically, yeah. And like the ones I would put together would be things that were in my head canon. You could argue that I programmed her. Not consciously. I didn't consciously do it. I didn't realize until years later when I come across one of the tapes.
I think it's closer to say you may have corrupted her.
Well, I do regret House of a Thousand Corpses, and she watched like the very
you went in
next
too hard too quick.
Well, all right. So it was on the list of what we were going to watch that night anyway. We had already decided, right? And I had Reservoir Dogs with me, and I was like, okay, well, I'll go grab House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects after we watch Reservoir Dogs. They're like, fine, because I had a key to the place. It didn't matter what time it happened. So we finished watching Reservoir Dogs. She was like, hey, you want to watch something else? I'm like, yeah, but we got to watch this one before we watch that one. And she was so put off by House of a Thousand Corpses, she made me take her home. And then the next time we met up, the very next time we met up, she showed up over at Tubby Bitch's house. And we came in just as Josh was putting in the Devil's Rejects, and we sat down and watched the Devil's Rejects. And when the credits started rolling, she turned and looked at me and said, I need a shower. I am the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's work.
Nice.
You know, one of my sisters often talks about her love of the Human Centipede.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she loves that movie.
Is this the one that runs the
yes,
shop?
It is. Now,
of course,
it's also the one I had Thanksgiving dinner with the other night.
Of course.
Yeah, no, there's no accounting for taste sometimes. But she loves
was a Human Centipede on the docket for that evening?
Now she describes the entire series. No, it was not. The entire series thusly. All right, the Human Centipede was cheesy fun. The second sequence, the Human Centipede 2, made her feel like she was watching something illegal. And the third one was just retarded. And these are her words.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's not my thing though. I don't particularly enjoy watching people get their mouths sewn to other people's assholes. So
I don't know, man.
Bit out of my my oeuvre, if you will.
Oh, apparently 1,000 Corpses is Erin's favorite movie.
Really? Oh wow, that says
holy
so
shit
much about you, honey.
Erin's more metal than we thought.
That does say something about her, but not like in a good way.
Just watch what you drink around her,
right?
I've been taking all them drinks.
Dave's like, fuck it, let's do it.
Let's do this,
bitches.
Yeah, the shop.
Remind me to tell you the pig story.
We'll get to that another time. We need to shut this shit down.
No, shut it down before I tell the pig story.
Yeah, we need to shut this shit down because you were going to leave anyway before you told the last story. So here we go. Why don't we? It's been great though. It's been a lot of fun tonight, and I do appreciate the fact that it was fun. I enjoy streams like this quite a bit. So thank y'all. Sasquatch, do you have some shilling that you want?
Got the blast radius tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. It'd probably be similar to this show. We've been getting into a lot of pop culture here recently because some of the most recent movies that have come out haven't been absolute fucking DEI disasters. There's a couple of them. I'm going to go over a couple that I've found. He's going to go over a couple that he found that he liked. And then we're going to laugh at a particular one involving apparently Edward the Confessor with his entire DEI court. And I want to hear him spurred out about it for about an hour. I think that would be hilarious. Tuesday, I have the Naughty Corner with AJOT. Generally, we go over cops doing bad shit or bad people doing bad stuff. People who deserve to be in the Naughty Corner, we laugh at them. Sometimes it's not even funny, but it's a dark laughter, and we get along with it. Beyond that, probably the Powdered Dusty for some period of time when he streams, because I don't have no control over that happening at all. He does his own thing. I just hold the feathers.
You're the French and his tickler.
Whatever, bro. I don't care how derogatory you make it. I just try to help. That's all. Just try to help, bro. That's it.
I get it, man. Them nuts ain't gonna tickle themselves. So
whatever, bro. Like
just like
buddy.
Right.
Jokes on you, I'm into that kind of shit.
Right.
Jokes on you, I'm into that shit.
Speaking of into that shit, Abe, what do you got coming up?
Well, I'm finally done for the week, so I'm actually going to have a day off. Well, technically 2 days. Well, possibly 2 days. Definitely 1 day.
Nice.
I'm definitely going to be back on Tuesday for the Jack and Abe show. Hump Day Chinwag on Wednesday. Stargate review streams on Thursday with the full Aussie crew. Friday, I'll be doing... actually, I'm not sure.
Quiz night.
Saturday, I'll definitely be back for Abyssal Musings, Beelzebub, Anime After Dark, Screaming Into the Void. I'm sure I'm missing a few out.
Yeah. For those of us in America, he means Friday night for some of that stuff.
Yeah. It's why I sort of say Friday night, Saturday morning sort of thing, because it's a transitional period. Yeah, I'm sure I've got more shit going on, but just fucking check me on Twitter. Abe's going to get you.
All right. As for me, I'm not actually sure what's happening tonight. Apparently, Amira found the issue with her internet, and they are working to correct it, but I don't know if it will be corrected in time for her to stream tonight. So as to whether or not she streams and whether or not I got to go produce over there is kind of up in the air right now. One way or the other, either if she doesn't go on, it'll probably be earlier on, but if she does, it'll be real late tonight. I'll probably be doing some more Sekiro because I'm addicted and I can't stop playing that fucking game, and I never should have put it on streaming in the first place so I could just keep playing it. But no, I have to wait till I go fucking live. So anyway, Monday I'll be on Adam the Renaissance Nerd's channel for Stream of Consciousness, probably more game streams between then and Friday. Next Friday, we have the final quiz night of the year on Abyssal Musings. So definitely show up for that. And I believe we're back with Beelzebub next weekend as well, wrapping back around next Saturday for Screaming Into the Void. And I think GHAL might be back for that one. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, but yeah, thank y'all for coming. Chat, you guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging with us and all the good stuff, all the things. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you soon. And remember, it could always be worse. It could be rain and flame. Bye. Bye.